So the spiel is anything that you say that you want us to take out, we will happily take out. Don't worry about dead air because I cut it. And if we talk too much, interrupt us and we will shut up.
Oh, I'm Jewish. I will.
I know.
Thank you. I appreciate that having another Jew on the podcast anytime.
It's not interrupting. It's overlapping.
I showed that article that you posted about like high affect overlapping, collaborative overlapping, or whatever. That was it on Jewish Currents? Where was that?
No, it was like Jewish Times something. Another like Jewish news site, which like is weird that there are so many when there are so few Jews in the world. It really does show that we kind of do
run the media. Yeah. I know. Oh man, every conspiracy or like thing about every anti-Semitic trope, you're like, kind of. Damn it. Wait, do you know what holiday it is today? It's like the.
It's about.
Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce it, but I know it's the like morning day where we got killed like a bunch of times on the same day or something, right?
Yeah, it's when the temple was destroyed. It like commemorates the destruction of the temple like twice.
Yeah.
Plus all other bad shit.
Right, but it like kept happening too.
Yeah.
So we made a holiday out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's like what my dad says. Like all Jewish holidays are like they tried to kill us, we won, let's eat. That's like his whole.
I mean, a lot of them aren't even like we won. It's like, well, we didn't. We tried our best.
Die.
You know, we had fun out there, and that's what counts.
Yeah, no, about the Jewish stereotype thing, my sister teaches at a private school, and she was like, this is so fucked up, but like, I didn't know Jews could be stupid until yeah. It's like, you know, Jews are smart, which like we'll find out very soon is not true.
Yeah, I was talking to someone, a Jewish friend recently, and she was definitely ashamed to say this out loud, but she like didn't realize that there were poor Jews, and then realized there were some in her family, and she was like, "What?" So you know, yeah, just front loading it with a bunch of great stuff to throw right back at us on this episode.
Yeah.
So I shared that article with my girlfriend who is a WASP, and because she gets really mad at me when I interrupt her. Nothing.
Are you Jewish?
No, I'm Catholic, which is the same in terms of interrupting. Like
Yeah, but you guys are way weirder about sex.
Yeah, for sure.
Really normal and good about sex.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't have shame. We have guilt. It's different.
Yeah.
Well, Catholics do too.
I hear it now.
okay,
yeah.
cool, we're good.
But in personal relationships, or at least in social situations, Catholics and Jews are very similar, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's
Like you were saying, interrupting.
yeah, it's a quantity of relatives thing for us. I think where you just have to say your piece, or else you'll never get a chance.
My they're bad Catholics, so we don't have a lot of people in our family.
What do they use birth?
Italian Catholics and Jews are like really the same.
Yeah.
That would be me. Yep.
The women in my family just aren't that fertile, but everyone had like 2 kids, and my parents only had 1 kid.
Is
it definitely the women? Or?
I mean, whatever.
I mean,
they're the ones that have the babies, so that's why I said that. But most of the women have had problems, like with, like everyone has had to get an ovary or uterus removed by the time they were 50. So.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
not as funny as the direction I thought it was going to
No.
go in. Thought we were going to talk about people in your family not being able to bust, but
Yeah, my dad's sperm count also not great.
there we go.
Yeah.
All right, back on
That's a
track.
buddy joke.
Hey. We should introduce our guest.
Oh yeah, how do you want
never do that?
How do you want to be identified? By your actual name?
Yeah, that's fine.
How do you say it? Isser?
My name.
Oh,
Isser.
Iser.
It's like, this is like the bane of my existence for my entire life. Like it's clearly pronounced incorrectly, but it obviously was like a different last name at some point, and so like someone just made like a game time decision.
I like Iser better though.
Thanks. I mean, if you didn't, there was nothing I could do about it.
Right.
Yeah, the story I've heard about Hoffman was that it was like a Ellis Island like last minute change to like sound less Jewy. It was like something way more like Russian and Jewy, and they were like, "Yeah, you're not gonna have a very good time."
Well, but it's like all of the changes are the most Jewy thing that could exist now, like Goldberg or like Hoffman or like Goldstein. Like those are the Jew names of today.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
We almost introduced the
You just
guest.
don't like listen.
Oh yeah, we got your last name. Mindy is your first name. Mindy Isser. We have Mindy Isser, aka Lilienta, of Twitter, at Lilienta, and you are, you just joined. Well, you're a leftist, obviously, but you just joined DSA.
I did just join, but like that just means paying dues.
Right.
So far, that's been my, besides like talking shit on the internet for a long time, my participation so far is just paying dues.
I just joined also.
Wow.
I thought you were at the convention based on how like much you had to say about the convention.
Well, my sister was at the convention and we're twins, so it's like
Oh, cool.
similar
Oh,
brain.
yeah, fuck it. Well, yeah. Who gives a shit then?
Basically
You may as
there.
yeah. Just lie.
Yeah, I was there. Well, we're not identical, so it's very clear that I was not actually there.
It's like the Prestige, but it's the shittiest trick ever.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I have
Like,
a say in a parliamentary organization.
Only delegates went, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. I would never, see, that's the thing. Like, I would never run for something because I'm so competitive. If I lost, it would destroy me.
Yeah.
Like, I would not be able to take it. So instead of like putting myself out there, I just like would never even bother.
Yeah.
How else does your competitiveness manifest itself?
Like, really? Well, sometimes it's productive, like in fun. I always win like fundraising challenges. Like, I'm a member of Jewish Voice for Peace. And the past 2 years, I've gotten the most new members because I just get so, once I start like asking people to join, I'm like, well, there's no point in doing this if I won't win.
Right.
So then I have to win. But it like keeps me up at night. So I've decided that this coming year, I'm just like not going to participate because it's too high stress. Even though I know it's for like a good cause, I just like, I can't emotionally handle it. But I have mental problems, obviously.
Well, then it's good. You shouldn't make yourself do everything then.
I mean, I think people need to put their like massive egos to good use because it's not like they're going away. Like,
No,
I
I mean, totally. I
don't
try
think
to get
we're doing
offline
any-
and I can't because of my ego problem.
right, and like yeah, no one's really gonna fix themselves. So you know, just like
I believe
try and get a bunch of credit for like doing dope shit.
I deeply believe in therapy and in people's ability to change. I really do. I don't believe in free will, but I do believe in therapy, and I don't understand
I think that there's
how I can reconcile those two things.
I think there's a difference between behaviors that there are things that you should change in therapy that are like ways that who you are manifests negatively, but you can't change who you are. Does that make sense?
Sure. Oh,
Like
yeah.
you can like be like, okay, I am this way, so I have to like stop doing the fundraising competition or I'll go insane but like you can't change how actions will make you feel. Does that make sense?
I completely agree. I think it's like you're cultivating. Are you in therapy?
Yes.
You're like cultivating. You're cultivating an ability to like have a feeling and like create a space between the feeling and the reaction to the
right.
feeling.
Right,
You
exactly.
learn how to deal with your shit better.
Yeah.
Right, but
Like,
you still will have
healthy.
the shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe some crazy Buddhist nonsense about like being able to like essentially choose who you are. I think we're
Oh,
constantly
you're a
choosing.
Jew boo.
Yeah. Fucking, I was.
Classic combination.
I mean, I'm just 16 years old forever. Is basically what that fucking.
Benjamin is
mindset
16 and 4'6".
Yeah, both true. Absolutely true.
I'm kind of Cath Boo myself. I don't know if that's a genre.
What? You're the least Buddhist person in the world.
Ask Benjamin.
Really?
Benjamin doesn't believe that I've never done psychedelics because I am so
So deep
so
and
deep,
wise.
bro. So deep
Yeah.
and wise. I mean, that's your words, not mine. You know.
Well, I drink a lot around you.
You get very effusive. It's very sweet. Yeah.
I've never done psychedelics because I'm too afraid.
Me too.
Oh yeah, we talked about that on Twitter.
Oh, yeah, I offered you
have too much
shrooms.
fear, so I know I would fuck it up.
Right. But did
My
you
head is not in the right place.
Yeah.
did you figure out a way to feel better about you were feeling bad?
Well, I'm just going through a breakup.
Oh, that
so
sucks.
not really much that can be done.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to ride it out.
Just got to trudge through the molasses.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks. It was like I'm the lever. That sounds weird, but I guess we're probably going to talk about Red Yenter or whatever.
Yeah.
But like I've
We don't
never
all-
online dated.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
Have you started?
I've been in 2 long-term relationships for the past like decade almost.
Yeah.
Hey, me
So
too.
I'm just, like going into the world just like a baby.
Yeah. Online dating is 70% awful, but 30% amazing. Because before, I'm in a boring monogamous forever relationship now, but I really got around on Tinder and OkCupid before. I was on OkCupid in its heyday. What's it like now? Are you on any yet?
No, so that's the thing. This is gonna like kill my legitimacy as like an online dating service provider, but I feel confident that I will never online date.
Well, you should never taste your wares, you know?
Don't
get high on your own supply.
My ex and I, we've been like on and off again, like open, which is like obnoxious to say out loud. And like I think people who talk about their like deviant sex lives are like so boring and horrible.
Yeah, this podcast sucks.
Yeah.
And I've like matched with people and messaged with people, but like once it comes to like the moment where they're like, okay, like time to like meet up, I just like freak the fuck out and like delete the app and like, pretend that like they died. Like the idea of it is so, not that like I'm scared of it, but not in the way where I'm gonna like get murdered, but I'm just like, this is gonna be so awkward
And boring.
so horrible.
Yeah.
And like for me, what I found is that sexual attraction or like chemistry or whatever it is such an important part of like dating, or else they're just like your bud or whatever. Unless you're the kind of person who just like really wants a life partner and you're going to make it work with whoever. And you're going to like really, really work at it
Judged.
and like move through the like weird, awkward sex stuff. For me, that like chemistry thing is so important.
Yeah.
And there's no way to tell if you have it from the internet. Like I could
Right.
not look at someone and be like, oh, I'm definitely going to want to sleep with them, because there are plenty of like hot people that I've been around who I have no
Right.
sexual
Attraction.
with, and
I
then
think some
ugly
people are good
who,
at-
like, I definitely want to bone.
Yeah.
I feel like if people are good at like flirting, like by like text or online, like that, like you can kind of
No.
tell. No,
I kind of
No,
subscribe
no, no,
to
no,
the
no.
like.
damn.
You haven't online dated a lot, have you?
No,
No,
but
you're
I
serial monogamous.
I do think you can kind of tell if you've
Nope.
got like.
We're the press.
Guys have said, I end up fucking some guy just because we'd sexted so much before we met, because I was like really horny and he
I'm not
started
even
it.
saying sexting. I'm saying like you can tell if you have a vibe with someone.
I don't think that you
No?
can. As soon as you meet them, if you don't have a vibe, it is very apparent because you make up a voice that they have in their heads.
Yeah.
Like if you make up the voice that you want them to have, and then if
For
they
you, it's just a not Jewish voice.
shut up.
Sounds like Truman Capote every time.
Benjamin thinks I hate Jewish voices because I'm very, very weird about voices, and I think 2 of the people's voices I didn't like were Jewish. But I also dislike a lot of voices. I also don't
I
like.
think that they're both men, though, right?
Yeah, but I also hate Diane Mack's voice on the radio because she has a really wet mouth, and I don't like that. You know, I don't like. You know when people are just. Yeah, it's disgusting.
Yeah, when we like the first episode that we recorded, you like
Was-
flipped out, and I'm like, oh, I gotta edit out all the mouth sounds. Never again.
No.
It took so long. So
So do you hate ASMR?
No, I actually I hate some of it and I like some of it. I like people eating. I don't mind people eating certain foods.
apples.
But I don't mind apples. I don't mind like apples and crunchy stuff, but I hate the sound of like
like
pasta.
noodles.
Yeah, exactly. I hate that. Yeah.
Sometimes I get really high and watch people eat noodles, and I love it.
You love it?
Oh yeah, what's that called? The Korean word.
Mukbang or something?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, is that what you're talking about? Like on Twitch or whatever?
I just Google.
Person eating noodles.
I like people playing with like squishy, loud, like Play-Doh type stuff. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
I'm getting into ASMR more because a friend like put me onto it when we were smoking weed, and I was like, wow, this is cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think the thing about like the vibe, you can tell if you have a vibe, whatever, with someone over text, but like that doesn't necessarily translate to a sex vibe. That
Right.
could just be like banter vibe or like friend vibe.
Also, some people are way better at texting than they are at talking, me included.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Yeah, there's like a Silicon Valley startup that was like you like wear a shirt for a day and then you mail it to the service and then they like cut it up and mail it to people to smell.
Dude, that is like how I think it works.
I agree. I completely agree.
There are other people who I have gone on dates with and I've immediately been like, I do not like how they smell.
Yeah.
And I could never have sex with them. Like, I really do think smell is a huge part. But yeah, no, I think that like if online dating had a smell thing, then maybe I could do it.
Smell-o-vision.
I have wanted to smell my phone a lot. Like things on my phone.
Would you like to extrapolate on that?
Like I'll be like, the one thing I can't get is like from this is smelling.
Are you talking about porn or
no?
Oh, I don't know.
Like food or things that look like they smell good or people. Yeah.
Okay, so not like Comrade Janice Griffith.
What? Oh no, not like Janice Griffith. I don't look at Pornhub comments.
Is she a leftist?
She is. Okay. She is. Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool.
Porn star said all cops are bastards in a comment, or said that it was a cool comment.
It's even better.
And Michael and Benjamin.
So someone commented like on her butt in the Pornhub comments. I know about this because it went sort of.
Read the comments when you watch.
No, motherfucker.
I assumed he was doing that.
I do not.
No, she. Okay, so she. First of all, I don't follow her on Twitter.
They are funny if you ever do it though.
She like retweeted or like she tweeted picture like screenshots or whatever, and then it went kind of viral. And the screenshots were like somebody commented on her butt, and she was like, "What? Like blah 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 about my butt." Also, nice username, and the username was ACAB cream pie. I don't know why it tickles me so much, but it tickles me. And
is it a pun on anything? It's just ACAB cream pie. That's all it is. I know it's all cops are bastards, but
I don't know.
There's
not
no
like
other
ACAB for cutie or something.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Oh, fucking swoosh, dude. Nice.
Oh man. So how long has Red Yenta existed? And did you start it or did your partner start it?
I guess we started it together in the winter, maybe December. I guess, okay, like the backstory is that I had an actual matchmaking service going on for a little while because I read this article, I think in the Washington Post, that this Shiksa woman wrote about how that means like non-Jewish.
Yeah,
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like only for Jews.
No, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like offensive. Sorry. I don't know.
No, you're good. You're good. Keep going.
It's okay.
Sorry.
No, you can say shiksa. That's not a slur.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, it
I
should
didn't
be,
think
'cause
so,
they're
but
all
then, like,
Turf
evil.
is a slur, but shiksa is not a slur.
Shut up. He's joking.
All right, go on.
So she wrote this article about how she like kept dating Jewish men who were like, "Don't worry, I don't need to marry a Jew," which like is a big deal for Jews. And then like ultimately they would end up breaking up and they would marry a Jew. And she was like, "I'm sick of being like a Jewish man's like fantasy to like
Rumspringa.
give his mom the finger." Like
Yeah.
I don't saying it back. I'm like, this wasn't a big deal, but reading it made me so mad. I don't know why, because I just think personal essays should be good.
Right.
They shouldn't come to like some dumb fake conclusion. Like if you just want to be like mad and salty and heartbroken, fine. Like have a diary or write a personal essay, like whatever. You got published in the Washington Post, mazel tov. But like it doesn't need to come to some like grand, broad conclusion about like Jewish men who I usually date and are like generally very nice. And so I was like, this is annoying. I'm going to start like a matchmaking service for Jews who want to date other Jews. And then it just evolved anyone who wanted to date anyone, obviously. But it was also mostly Jews who wrote into me. So I had this like whole spreadsheet where it would be like women for women, women for men, men for women, blah, blah, blah. All of the different
Big
variables.
list of Jews.
Yeah. And like it would be split up by like city and interests and like all of these things. And I set people up, like I emailed them to connect them. But this is what kind of got me like started on the online dating thing. Like doesn't really make sense because I would connect these people who had the same like really obscure interests, who like lived in the same city, didn't know each other somehow, even though they had like the same weird interests, like puppets, like weird shit. You know, like I'm like, oh, you two are perfect for each other. Like you both like weird puppets, and like you both do Shabbat. So like, great, you can like go to a puppet thing and then do Shabbat together. How nice. And then they would go on a date, and like it just wouldn't click.
Right.
So I'm like, this is all fake. Like none of this makes any sense. And then it just got too much for me to like. I have a full-time job, and I just couldn't deal with all the emails coming in. So I just kind of stopped it. And then, sorry, am I talking too much?
No, you're great.
No, you're supposed
awesome.
to talk.
You're on a podcast right now.
Yeah, you're the guest.
I know, but I've listened to some of your other podcasts, and I feel like, okay, whatever.
Wait, when you say some of our other podcasts, do you mean one episode?
I listened to 1.5 episodes.
Okay.
We just talk too much.
Yeah.
No, that's good. I also talk too much, so we're compatible.
We'll be good. Okay.
Well, we have to smell each other first, but probably.
Okay, next time I'm in New Orleans, we can all smell each other.
That sounds good. Yeah.
I was getting mad on Twitter about something. Like, it's the internet's so. I'm embarrassed about my Twitter usage, and I wish like I could stop it, but it's just like become more powerful than me.
When you get high, do you ever just tweet like? Do you ever just delete like all of your tweets? I do that sometimes when I'm
started doing that. I signed up for one of those things that deletes your tweets from like
a while ago. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I'm like afraid of being canceled more than I've already been canceled.
Yeah, I was about to say, you're constantly posting about like, motherfucker, I got canceled again. Like every other day, you're like, no.
Okay, here's the thing. I'll get back to how right I just started in a second. But like the thing about Twitter is like everyone wants followers, and like I get it. People like want attention. I'm obsessed with attention. I totally get it. But like the more followers you have, the more quickly you will get canceled. And like you will get canceled for the dumbest fucking shit. Like I fucking tweeted about how
construction workers
stand up on flights like are dumb and crazy. It's like you're just waiting. And I got canceled by all these people being like, you don't care about people with invisible disabilities. It's like,
wait,
just
what?
Can't think about everyone enough
all the time. Right.
For sure.
Yeah.
If a tweet, people have mistaken bigotry for people tweeting something that doesn't apply to every single human being. Like that's insane. It is insane. One time I got called, this is so obscure. I was watching this show based on a Stephen King. It was on like FX or something. Melanie Linsky's in it. And who else? Anyway, it was like based on a Stephen King book, and it was a weird supernaturally series. Sissy Spacek was in it. I forgot what it was called. But this guy would like he had this like ability to detect something supernatural, and he would have this horrible ringing in his ears that was like debilitating. And I forgot what I tweeted, but it was something like, if I had this, I would blah.
Kill myself.
And then I think I did say that
I
or something like that.
Yeah.
And then someone,
I know you.
Caitlin Sullivan. Oh shit.
I'll mark it.
She'll never listen to the podcast. Also, there's a lot of ladies named that.
Yeah, sure.
But anyway, so she was like, this is extremely ableist, and she then sent me like a bunch of stuff about chronic illness, and I was like, but it wasn't an illness. I was like, he was hearing God. So I was like, this is not what I meant. I was like, God was hurting his ears. I'm not talking about people who have MS.
Right.
Like,
No, you're harming people who have access to the Metatron.
It's too much. I'm like, this is
like Protestant,
especially with ableism, how people are like, you can't say blind unless you mean blind. You can't say someone was blind to the truth. You can't say it fell on deaf ears. That's ableist now.
Heard of that?
Oh yeah. Oh god. It is. It goes deep. I mean, you basically cannot talk if you want to not be ableist, because our language is quote unquote ableist.
Oh hell yeah, it is.
It is.
But I'm not. But you.
But I think if we all had healthcare, everything would be fine. Like I really do think that like language matters, but the reason that people don't have access to healthcare and people belittle an illness is because of this horrible individualistic work through the pain mentality we have, and not because people use ableist language. Maybe we would use less ableist language naturally if like the bigger
things. Is actually offensive to short kings like myself, because
anyway,
I am 4'7".
I do think that is one of those things that's like pretty. I mean, I know that people would say you're not part of this identity, so you can't say. I would like to do my best to be nice to people, but I don't know. Anyway,
well, that's the thing. I feel like something I was taught when I first started like getting woke or whatever is like intention actually doesn't matter, but actually I think it does.
Yeah.
And I don't know if like I'm allowed to say that and not get canceled, but like
Who gives a shit?
I do think intention.
You got nothing to lose now. You've been
How
canceled
many
like 8 or
listeners
9
do you
times.
think?
250.
Okay, I'll take my chances.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, I have
really
a need
do
for
think-
attention and no way to get it.
Context,
so, cool.
at least context matters a shit ton.
Totally. And it's like, if you're not trying to be a dick and you're just trying to talk about something that's like not relevant. I mean, sometimes things have made me think like, I never would have thought about
Right.
that. Like, I'm glad I know that now, but it doesn't mean I would necessarily change what I said.
Right.
And like, I
And-
think that's also
And
fine.
beg for
And I think-
forgiveness grovelingly, which is what people want you to do.
dude, yeah,
then
they
they'll
want
make fun
you
of
to
you for
write like
that,
a whole
too.
fucking like 20 tweet thread about how sorry you are and how you're gonna like work to change. And it's like, get the fuck over it. Like the people who say the internet isn't real are wrong,
Uh-huh.
but also the people who want to cancel people constantly are also dumb. It's like, I am truly embarrassed by how many Twitter followers I have because I've never done anything of note except tweet a lot. Like, it's not like I'm a writer
Mhm.
or like whatever, like those people who have like a lot of followers. And I honestly think that, and maybe this includes me and I just don't have enough self-awareness to know it. I think that most people who have a lot of Twitter followers who have not done anything are just like freaks who like don't know how to actually like interact with people. And that's why they use Twitter to just like search things, be like canceled.
Right. I don't
What
think
the
that
fuck point
I
is
don't think that that's you at all. And I think that some people are like that, but some people are just really funny on Twitter or just very relatable, and that's okay. And I think if you're self-aware and know that you like attention, then Twitter's a great place to be.
It's okay to be popular, you guys.
There's a really good tweet the other day that I retweeted. It's like, for you, you're popular, you're smart, you're hot, you're funny. I see you. We exist. Wow.
Amazing.
I feel so seen. But yeah, no, I think I do. I think Twitter, I don't know. Is it good? Is it bad? It's both. But like, it really can bring out the worst because it brings out these crowds of fucking people. Like,
You got attacked. You tweeted, and I told y'all about this. I hated seeing it. The way people, they did a screenshot of your tweet about construction workers, and then you were just, but you
multiple
were,
construction worker tweets.
yeah. But what? Why are y'all laughing?
You hate to see it.
Yeah, you hate to see it.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even mean.
I
I
know,
didn't
go
mean to
on.
do
I
that.
Dude, we started talking about Twitter for like
2 seconds.
a minute,
Yeah.
and you're just speaking in memes.
I didn't mean to say it, but anyway. So no, people just. I got the vibe of your tweet when you said yelled at. I'll be like, I yelled at him, and what I did was, excuse me, like this
Right.
isn't cool. That's me yelling because I always exaggerate, and I'll be like,
of course.
yeah. I was like, they took it completely seriously, and they acted like you hated working class people when you were yelling at like someone who was not even like he wasn't like the boots on the ground guy, right? He was like the guy managing.
Boss, he was wearing a suit.
Yeah,
And also, it's like
But a hard hat, so.
yeah.
it's like also the way people think about the working class is like so disgusting and like,
you can never be mad at them ever. Is the point? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, well, yeah, it's like working class people can never be, I hate this word, problematic or like do anything wrong because they're working class. It's like, no, working class people like beat the shit out of their wives. They're homophobic. They're racist. Like they're the same as everyone else because they're
Right.
fucking human.
Right.
And also like,
There's
Most
an equal
people
percentage of
are-
assholes. Yeah.
Almost everyone is working class. That's
dude, don't
that's the
even
fucking
get
thing
me
about it.
fucking started. It drives me insane. Everyone has like a fucking hard on for like
Coal miners and shit.
construction workers
Yep.
and like sanitation workers. It's like the vast majority of people in this country do not like, they are in the working class. Like,
Yeah.
they're fucking annoying and like grad students or like whatever it is the fuck they do.
That's how
It doesn't
socialism
make
fucking
sense.
works. Is like, there's a lot of us. That's the point. Is that most of us are that. Yeah.
No, if you're not a
I know.
firefighter who fights other firefighters, then you fucking.
Like rock'em sock'em robots.
My father was a firefighter. He fought firefighters, and then there was a firefighting fight union. It's working class.
Sorry, go
That's
on.
like-
Yeah, and it's also like, I don't know, a lot of like working class people don't work for money or like work for money in like illegal or like informal ways. And like that includes parents. And so like, not to harp on this construction worker thing, but he was blocking the curb cut And I live in a neighborhood with a lot of moms who use strollers, which means they'd have to go into the street, which is dangerous for babies. I fucking love babies.
Yeah.
Like, who's more innocent than a baby and deserves protection more than like a grown up? So anyway, that's why I was mad.
They are the leisure class, though.
That is ageist. Absolutely.
Yeah, they're
canceled again.
Yeah.
You're fucking up.
You're worshiping the leisure class. All they do is eat and poop.
Yes, it's true. And cry and complain. That's what babies do. Yeah. Okay, so I will explain the red yenta thing.
Okay.
Coming back to me. I was mad online probably because a socialist boy I had a crush on had like a non-socialist girlfriend. That's probably the reason. And like I probably just should have just like talked to my therapist about it.
When you're saying probably, that was the reason?
No, I actually don't remember. I've been like harping on this topic for a while that socialist men often date non-socialist women, and I very rarely see the other way around. Like, none of my socialist women friends would ever date someone who is like apolitical. Like, that would just not cross their mind.
Right.
But a lot of male socialists I know like date these kind of like, I don't want to be disparaging to women. I love all women. But like kind of like the manic pixie dream girl kind of situation, like alternative
Etsy entrepreneur
women who don't have opinions on things. And I was just mad about it, as I often am. And so I like tweeted about it, and like people got so mad. Like a lot of women were like, yes, I totally agree. And a lot of men were like, well, how am I supposed to meet a socialist woman? It's impossible. So that gave me the idea to be like, oh, well, like now there will be no excuse, and we'll know like who's a fraud and who's not.
It's also good because,
so,
like, you don't want people being like, well, I'll go to a DSA meeting and just hit on every fucking woman there. It's like, that's not what that's for.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and then a lot of the criticism we've gotten is like, it's already hard to be a woman at a DSA meeting because men hit on us all the time. And I'm like, well, isn't this a better avenue then? Because they can just like channel their like desire for a socialist mate through this. I mean, I don't know. That's never happened to me before. So maybe I'm ugly or unlikable. I'm not trying to discount people's like harassment stories. Obviously, we've all been like harassed, but also like, I don't know, is getting hit on that big of a deal? It's sometimes flattering.
I agree. I think that I don't know, I've never been involved with like a socialist organization, or really that involved with any organization that was not all women, or mostly women. But I think the idea that I think there is sort of an idea that any guy that hits on you is a creep. Like, we all intuitively know the difference between getting hit on creepily. You can say the same thing and it be creep. Like, how close someone is, if they touch you, like, all of those things are, you know...
If they're a total hottie or not.
Well, yeah, whatever, right. But also, the idea that, like, women... The idea
Benjamin's
of, like...
a lookist now, yeah.
Yeah, the idea that, like, oh, you liked it when that hot guy hit on you and you didn't fuck me when I hit on you. It's like, well, yeah, I didn't say you were harassing me, but I don't want to fuck you. I think the problem is, like, when you reject them taking it badly.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's 100% the thing. Like, we are all grown-ups. We should be able to say, like, no, I'm not interested. Okay, that's cool. See you around.
See you later.
Like,
right.
That should be the end of it. And if it's more than that, that's fucked up and that sucks. But someone, like, shooting their shot, I don't know. I mean,
how else are we going to meet each other? Yeah.
It's awkward if you're not interested, but, like, honestly, like, how the fuck else are humans supposed to, like, meet each other?
Right.
And that's, like, the shit with the internet comes in. It's, like, people are afraid to talk to each other in real life because, like, it's awkward, or honestly, at this point, they're afraid of getting, like, Me Too'd. Sorry to say that, but, like, honestly, men should be able to talk to women without it being, like, this guy hit on me and it was so inappropriate. I'm like, I'm probably going to get canceled for saying that, but it's like we have to be able to know the difference between like
harassment
that's fucked up and like feeling awkward for a second. That's just part of life. It's like part of human connection.
Mm-hmm. I think most people do, and I think most people want to say that, but when it comes to the, like, man, I hate to sound like the I don't know. I don't want to sound like an super online girl, but like when it comes to like the orthodoxy of like what you're allowed to be like if you I feel like sometimes when people are like, now I'm kind of going off topic, but when people will be like, I just wish all men would quit comedy and no men would ever try to do it anymore. It really pisses, like women will say this to me and I'm just like, I mean, I hate most men who do comedy and I hate more men than I hate women, but a lot of women should quit comedy too. And like women are not, like there is this idea that men who pursue any creative outlet or who have the audacity to ask for anything are inherently laughable just because there is so much harassment. And I think that is something I've been encountering recently where I felt like I was like an MRA for just being like, not all men should quit pursuing creative things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just...
Well, yeah, like the idea that like...
my goodness! What's your dog's name?
Matilda.
Oh, I love it.
That's a good name. But like the idea of like you get everything else, why are you taking up space in this space also, right? Like,
sure.
Yeah.
Well, it's really why we need socialism. So like people are free to pursue the things that they want without the like, I don't know, other
privilege
like,
wouldn't it be
societal things attached to it. But it's like the internet just doesn't leave room for nuance, and I think it does all of us a disservice because it's like, you know, about the sex stuff. It's like obviously we live in a really fucked up society that like really hates women and really commodifies them. And it's also true that like women do generally want to have sex just like men do. And like sometimes like people get their feelings hurt. I do all the time. Sometimes like people are bad at like verbalizing things and expressing things, which like is an individual problem, but it's also like a societal and cultural problem because it's like we don't teach kids how to like understand or discuss sex. Mm-hmm. And so we have like fucked up sex with each other. And it's like, yeah, it is on like men to like not rape women, obviously, but I also like really do believe that people come out of sexual experiences having two totally different understandings of them. And like, I don't know what we should do about that. Like, I don't believe we should just like kill all the men who like have fucked up. We have to like somehow fix it preemptively. Right.
I agree.
Yeah, that's something that comes up a lot on lot of these episodes.
I think we're all afraid. I think we're all afraid of we're all afraid of excusing abuse, and we're also all afraid of castigating people aside that like deserve or that could be benefited by the opposite like behavior.
I really feel like we're like turning a corner. I mean, I think I said this last time. I think we're turning a corner
on like cancel culture and all that shit.
I really think
it seems like people kind of realize that
everyone got canceled. Yeah.
I don't know.
We're all imperfect humans who have like said fucked up shit and done fucked up shit.
And there's that, and that like, so there's the actual like consequences that are bad for the person that it happens to. Mm-hmm. What like there's degrees of like people deserving it or whatever. But I think the thing people are really starting to realize, hopefully, and I think it's happening, is that like it is just like a mob mindset, and people are just going along with like whatever they think everybody is doing because they want to be part of the right thing, and it just turns people into like a mob of scolds.
Yeah.
And like humorless scolds.
I mean, to me, the question is like, what is the end game? It's like, okay, so this person did a bad thing. We all acknowledge it. And then what? Like, what is the next step? And it's like, I don't feel like anyone has a really good, or at least I've never heard of many good answers to that. It's like some people have like community accountability stuff, and that sounds okay. But like a lot of this stuff becomes outside of the community that it's happening in. Like, let's say you had a sex pest in your like DSA chapter, and it was dealt with internally, and like they had like an accountability circle, and like the person acknowledged what they did and like apologized and took a 6-month break from the chapter to go to therapy and then came back or whatever. Well, it's like, one, is that good enough? Who decides if that's good enough? And then what happens if someone like wants to fucking tweet about it, and then it becomes like a fucking Twitter storm about how this guy is like a rapist? And then like all these people who are like not in the community have like something to say about it,
right? When
it like doesn't actually affect them. And obviously it affects all of us, blah, blah, blah. But like, you know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, I do think that there are limitations to the Twitter storm the Twitter storm's ability to actually affect that person's life, because if rehabilitative justice or restorative justice has been pursued in the community, then like nobody in the community is going to be like, he didn't. No, you can't. No one's going to call someone in the community and be like, you should fire this dude. Like, no.
I think the pressure of Twitter storms make people fire people, make people remove people from their communities a lot, and I think some of that's very good, and I think some of it might not be so good. But I definitely think that, like, I mean, I've never been canceled online, knock on wood. I also don't have that many followers, but the threat of it,
and the people who do follow you because you have no filter, so.
Right, yeah. So I don't think, but if I ever got retweeted by a large account that had followers that were not like my followers, then it could be, or worse, screenshotted by someone who didn't like me. Like,
we're releasing the podcast group chat.
I've seen it happen. Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah, I'm actually.
I would kill myself.
Try and get
I would kill myself if y'all released the
group chat. Yeah.
Just because I talk so much shit and I say so much bad stuff. Anyway,
everyone does that. That's the thing. It's like, no, like everyone who's like, you know, like, don't throw stones if you live in a glass house or whatever, but it's like everyone acts so fucking like high and mighty and moral when they're like canceling people, when it's like, bitch, you've done the same fucking shit.
Right,
like,
just privately. Right.
We all have. Like, I've said such fucked up shit in my life that, like, you know, I cringe to think about, and like even shit I sometimes still say or whatever, or like shit I think, and I'm just like, God, I'm like a dirtbag. Yeah. But it's like,
I was saying this to Married Evan today, but I was like super hungover at work, and I work service, and I had this kind of hangover where I was worried that my thoughts were going to accidentally come out of my face.
That's why I don't do psychedelics. Is for that reason. I'm terrified that I'm going to say.
No, because you don't think clearly, so the thoughts that'll come out of your mouth will be like, you'll think you said a sentence and you're just drooling. Like I was afraid of that too. I was afraid I was going to do psychedelics and think about my life, but it puts you in a mind space where you're like, your brain is not working like it usually would, so it's going to be, every bad thing you've ever done is so boring to think about.
It depends on the psychedelic, I think.
Mushrooms are very different from, I haven't done acid in like 10 years. Mushrooms are very like, they're very intense, and they take me out of myself, kind of. So I mean, you don't experience like ego death, like, you know that you're you, but like everything feels like you're in a completely different place. I would be looking at you and wouldn't see you as you if I was like tripping really, really hard. I don't know. Yeah.
But to go back to the cancellations.
Sorry, we cut off Benjamin. He was going to talk about how he almost told a woman nice boobs.
I mean, yeah. Well, I was like worried.
Really what you were going to tell her?
No, there wasn't like any specific moment, but I was just like, man, I really hope I don't accidentally just say like, oh, cool tits. To, like,
but that's what you were thinking. Like,
yeah, because I mean that's what everyone thinks all the time,
right?
And yeah, you can't. I mean, you can judge people, I guess, but if you do, you suck.
I mean, if you're judging someone for finding someone attractive, it's pretty stupid.
I mean, I think it's like a special grade of sociopathy if you go through life and those thoughts don't bubble up. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you don't have extremely problematic thoughts 100% of the time, not 100, 99% of the time, then something's wrong with you.
Yeah.
Like, that's the whole game is like what happens between the thought and the world. Like, that's where
especially
the ethics come in. The involuntary stuff, who gives a shit?
Always horny.
Right.
It makes it so much more difficult.
Man, Vince and I were doing a bit. So I run a comedy show, and we hand out flyers before the show on a busy street in the French Quarter. And whenever women pass by and I like their like makeup or their nails or their tattoos or their clothes, I have a disease where I have to tell them. And
I have that disease.
I have that disease. I'm just like, I like your dress. And they're like 3 feet away already. And Vince is just like, oh God.
No, I love to catcall women.
Me too.
Like, complimenting women, like all of those memes about like women in the bathroom with each other.
Yeah.
Like, make me cry. They like speak to me on like such a deep level.
Same.
But then I love it. But like when men say anything to me, I'm like disgusted.
I think because I like want to say all that shit, but then I divert it and I just say nice things to dudes instead.
That's good.
Looking swole, bread.
Men should be nicer to each other. I mean, I feel really bad for men. Men need like more of an outlet to be like emotive and loving and stuff.
Well, more dudes should do Molly and fucking shrooms and shit.
Yeah.
It's
True.
fun.
Yeah, but also you shouldn't need not to be like, you shouldn't need drugs, but like we should have like,
But the drugs
I
exist.
don't really believe in culture shifts, but like we should have a culture shift where like,
I just think if the drugs
I agree.
work, I don't know, man.
No, but I'm just saying, like, we
the
wouldn't.
drugs are hitting right.
But women don't need drugs to complement each other, so it should change. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, it's a whole
You don't need that
cultural
stuff to
thing,
have
but-
a good time, man.
You don't need drugs to connect.
Out here telling my friends that they look swole and
You
they got
really
nice
do.
butts
Yeah.
and kissing them and shit.
Yeah.
Come on, man. They work.
Yeah. Mindy,
Yeah,
do you,
no, I mean, who doesn't have a nice time when they use Molly? It's like,
I still haven't because I'm afraid of what I'll say.
Molly, maybe, sure. Yeah, Molly, I've said some stuff where I was just like, this is the perfect time to tell someone why I hated them for 3 months.
I mean, I think I had PTSD from watching
But it
CJ.
works.
Do you remember CJ?
Oh, God. CJ.
He would take Molly and then he would be on the phone for like 8 hours straight.
Yeah.
Oh, no, dude.
Yeah.
No, don't
Yeah.
call.
God.
You just whoever you're with. Whoever you're with.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
got super mad at Luke one time.
It was like he went through all 12 steps at once and also wasn't sober.
The first time Luke ever did acid, it was just me and him, and he kept going on the phone, and I was like, "You're so bad at this, dude."
Wait, so Red Yenta. So it's not. Okay.
Sorry.
What? Why? Okay.
No, you don't apologize. Yeah, go ahead.
Why? So it moved from a matchmaking service to you just post things and connect people, like sort of you just put it out there and let them take it from there.
well, yeah. So yeah, I was getting mad online about socialist men not dating socialist women, which like I am still mad about, and like I think I'll be mad about it till I die. And like I tweeted about it. All these men got really mad.
It's a revolutionary tactic.
Marissa, who's now my co-yenta, messaged me and was like, wow, like everyone's really mad. And I was like, I'm going to do this thing. Do you want to do it with me? And Marissa was like, yeah, okay. So we just we just started it and did it. And I mean, it's gone like up and down, you know, like in the beginning we got a bunch of bios and yeah, we just post them and I don't know what happens after that. Like Godspeed to everyone. But we also got like a bunch of like insane hate, like calling us CIA honeypots and like the feds and all this stuff. And I'm just like, and it's all from like, I don't like to disparage socialists and I don't like to use like the term tanky because I feel like it's offensive and people who are in like more leftist socialist organizations are like good and important and they should do what works for them. But like people who others would call tankies would say like we're the CIA, we're feds, we're like ruining the socialist project. And then even to me, even more
Wait,
fucked
where
up
the
shit.
fuck were they coming from? Like, what was the? I don't even
internet.
get.
Because we're posting like we're telling people to basically we said like give us your location, bio, socialist sect, which was like kind of a joke, and like your Twitter handle. And so people are like, oh, this is like a setup for the FBI. And it's like, if the FBI cares about socialists, they're already on Twitter. Like, they're not fucking dumb.
Right.
Like, we've destroyed organizations before. They know what they're doing.
Oh yeah, they're almost definitely in a bunch of different levels of the DSA at this point. I think if you,
Oh, for sure.
yeah, if you aren't at least reasonably paranoid about that,
You're an idiot.
You've never read history.
Yeah.
Like,
For sure. So it's like, what the fuck does this do? It's like all the shit you already have on Twitter. Like, it's just a wholesome, nice thing. Like,
you're just trying to
I'm
help
an
people
urban
smudge,
person.
man.
I don't even get exactly. Well, and then the worst to me, like the worst criticisms were like, socialists should not be focused on sex or dating.
What?
And to me, that shows me that like none of those people have ever organized with anyone in their lives, because I was a union organizer for 5 years, and like some of the biggest fucking like stressors in people's lives were like fast food workers who make fucking $7 an hour and have like the worst fucking shithole jobs, shithole lives, like everything sucks. The shit that they wanted to talk about was how their like boyfriend cheated on them.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
that was the shit that like they like would bring up in a one-on-one. So it's like actually all of these people are normal and they want to have sex and they want to connect with people, and you guys are like a bunch of freaks who like don't know how
when
to like,
your material life is controlled by capital and like those forces, it makes dating a lot fucking harder because you have problems that you have to deal with because of it. If you don't have like healthcare or free time or any money to go do anything, I don't know. Yeah, that's crazy. Also, when you said they've never organized, I was so sure you were about to say orgasms.
Me too. Same. Yep.
Oh,
I was
maybe
not.
that's true too. Maybe they have like a weird thing where that's like, I don't know. Isn't that like a thing where you like don't let yourself come or something to achieve?
Well,
something?
yeah. So there's edging. There's also like the people who believe the Volcells who believe that every time you have an orgasm, men, your testosterone levels go down.
Wasn't that like also a premise of some movie? Like, I can't think of it. Anyway.
Wait, the one with Josh
Wait, can
Hartnett?
women be ball cells?
I mean, definitely. I mean, it just means voluntarily celibate.
Right. No, I know what the two words mean. What would the woman's thing be? Like, what happens if you come?
I have no idea. Probably.
You go to hell.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I feel when I watch porn. I do feel like a weird. I'm like, maybe I'm not Jewish because anytime I watch porn, I feel like immediately guilty after.
Yeah, same. Like when you come.
One of us.
Yeah.
No.
Right after you come, you're supposed to be completely disgusted by the porn you're watching.
Yeah.
That's just normal.
But I do not. I mean, during sex, I'm like, this is awesome. Let's
Oh,
do it.
yeah. Yeah, because you're not.
Porn, I'm like, I'm a disgusting monster. I'm like ashamed of myself for like the disgusting porn I choose to watch.
Same.
Well, because you feel like a peeping Tom, you know?
Yeah.
You're not doing the work.
Well,
You're fucking freeloading.
You're not connecting
Goddamn.
with someone.
That's it. It's like, I think it's because porn is so not real that I'm just like,
Wait, what?
it's just so, I don't know what it is. I'm trying to think to explain it, but it's like, yeah, I don't know.
I watch really degrading porn that I'm embarrassed that I like. So I think
No, me too. Oh my god, me too.
Yeah,
I would
so-
like if anyone knew what kind of porn I watched, I would like.
be mad canceled.
Same. That's why I know why I feel ashamed because I wish I didn't like it. So
Yeah.
But like when I'm horny enough, I don't care.
For me, it's like an out of.
That's the thing. I'm never horny enough to have a good enough imagination on my own.
I have been, but it takes a long time.
No, it's like too. There's no way I could get there. Like
Yeah.
I just have too much other stuff floating around up there. That's
Yeah.
like porn. It's like I need like 120 seconds of something good.
Yeah,
And then
for sure.
For me,
I'm having a damn evening with myself.
wait, I see.
So-
I don't. You're a genre of person that I don't understand. Like you take your time.
I enjoy beating off.
what
Yeah,
do you mean?
yeah.
Like multiple times or just like one long?
a lot of edging.
I guess both. Yeah.
Wait, so
Oh,
once after your first
You
orgasm,
have a really long clit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what Benjamin's dick is like.
but you don't
You've nailed it.
Yeah.
You got it.
you don't like take a break and do it like make a peanut butter and jelly.
I mean, sometimes there's PB&Js, but you know, sometimes I mean, it's not like anyone can immediately like bust.
No, of
again.
course. I just like for
Some people have a really quick refractory period.
I think I do, but it's not. I mean, yeah, there still has to be like you know,
Period. Yeah.
for me it's like sneezing. I'm not gonna
drink a
sneeze
glass
again.
of water.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I sneeze a bunch too. in a
Same. I
row.
sneeze
Yeah.
like 10 times in a row. But I like am not. I don't understand when women have like multiple orgasms in the same sexual session because I feel like after I have one, I get really sensitive and don't want to do it again. Same for porn. I feel like I have to wait a while before I do it again.
Well, okay, that's the thing. Masturbation, always with porn, usually just because I can't fall asleep.
Same.
And done. Never want to think about it again because I'm so ashamed. But like, I definitely could come multiple times in sex, but only with someone who I was extremely into.
Yeah.
Not like the regular kind of thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm like once I come, I'm just like, get off of me.
No, I do feel that way often.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just also disgusted by whoever I'm having sex with. Just like, don't fucking touch me.
Is it like into, as in you're really into them, and also it's like like relatively early in the relationship? Like, do you have that experience like 5 years in or whatever?
No, I haven't.
And also, the name and address of your most recent partner.
I would never have sex and not come. Like, I do not understand that.
Yeah.
Like, that is not an option for me. Like, I'm just not. I'm not going in with that mindset. So, like, I'll always come, but I never like many times.
Yeah.
Man, I just want to have a conversation that I can't have on mic right now.
I wish, honestly, people talked more about masturbation.
Yeah.
Be the change, man.
No one ever told me about it. Like, my parents never told me about it. They never told me about sex. Nothing.
Wow.
One time, like, sat my mom down. I mean, like, I grew up in, like, a really, like, liberal Jewish household. One time I was like, Mom, like, you're supposed to tell me about sex. And she was like, what do you want to know? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know anything.
I don't know what I don't know.
Can you
like
start,
a Donald
please?
Rumsfeld thing. Yeah.
She's like, I don't know. She's like, if you ask me a question, I'll answer. But it's like, who wants to fucking be like, Mom, what's an orgasm?
Right.
Well,
So horrifying.
that is like one of the, I think, hurdles towards people having better sex and like including like having like better relationships with like consent and like knowing, even like flirting, all that shit is like no one tells you how to fuck or like how to flirt. Like it's all like strictly like biological, which like even
Blue
that
Lagoon.
is
That what that movie is? Blue Lagoon? Where it's like a brother and sister who are stranded on an island and they gradually figure out what sex is and they have the babies?
I have no idea.
I might have dreamed this, actually, so I take it all back.
No, I think that is an incest movie.
Keep going.
Oh, just, I mean, like, no one tells you how to fuck, so you have to figure it out while you're fucking.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
especially
If you're a man, at the expense of many people's happiness. Yeah.
No, totally. And when you're a teen, at least my experience was like, I was so horny and like probably slightly less horny than I am now, but didn't understand how to like deal with it.
Right.
But, like, I was like literally insane.
Same.
Like, I was insane.
That's why teenagers
No one
are the
was
way they
like,
are.
This is normal.
Yeah.
You should masturbate or like you should like have sex. But also I was like, I had a boyfriend in high school and we were like so horny for each other, but I had like this arbitrary rule, like I'm not gonna have sex with you because no one told me about sex, and so I felt ashamed of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I wanted to have sex so bad, and we were like in love and like whatever, but I just like wouldn't let myself do it. So instead, I literally just was insane.
How old were you when you did first have sex?
17, but I left high school a year early, so I was like technically in college at the time.
Okay.
And I had sex with this boy who I ended up dating for a long time, but this was like my first. I like don't understand casual sex, like extreme support and like power to people who like can do it, but sex literally makes me insane, obviously. And so like I had sex with this boy who I thought was cute, and like I was like, oh, like we should just have sex. I've never had sex. It seems cool. Like I really want to do it. And then we had sex, and I was like insane and obsessed with him because like sex actually like activates chemicals in your brain, and like no one talks about this, and everyone just wants to be like chill, aloof.
No,
But, like, I'm not chill or aloof, so like I go insane when I have sex with
I had the opposite scenario. I mean, I also go insane when I have sex with someone and I like them. If it's like good sex, then I'll fall in love with them. And sometimes I'll fall out of love in a week, but like I will,
Totally.
But like I do go insane.
It heightens your emotions.
It does. But like I was taught when I was like 15 or 16 that women did scientifically fall in love with men, and that men were less, and that you only had a certain amount of oxytocin, and that like the more men you fucked, the less of a connection that you'd establish, and that men did not have the same chemical reaction in their brains. So
Wait, did you go to Catholic school or something?
I did. Yeah.
And that's what they teach you?
Yeah, that's what they teach you about sex.
That's so fucked up.
Man,
I know.
Just picturing the dude who first thought of that, being so proud of
I'm
himself.
a genius.
Yeah, like, I got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
And then they're always like, and then, to combat the charge of sexism, they'll always have, at Catholic schools, they would like hire people to come give us the sex talk. I have a joke about this, so Michael and Benjamin are probably sick of
That's
hearing
okay.
about it.
No, you're good. You were
but,
great
like-
Friday and Saturday.
Oh,
Why
thanks.
not? Why not Sunday?
But there was this one guy that was like a cool guitar man, and it was probably like 2004, and he came and he gave a talk, and he was just like, men do care about sex, blah, blah, blah. But the whole framing of it was like, yeah, men do care about sex and it's important to us. And we also, like, it's sometimes women are unfairly told that, like, they're responsible for not having sex. Men are responsible too, but with the caveat of we're not attracted to women. We're not more attracted to women when we have sex with them. We're less attracted to women when we have sex with them. So it's up to
like
us.
they used whatever.
Right. So it's like
what
up
they
to us
show
to
you. They're
yeah.
like, do you want to be? Wait, what is the thing they show you? Oh, it's like a stick of gum. It's like
Yes, that's what my joke's about. That's what my joke's about.
Yes.
They do that. We had a girl do that to us, and then we all kept passing the gum around, and she was like, "Stop, stop, stop!" It's like we didn't give a shit. Like it was an all-girls Catholic school, so she really picked the wrong crowd to care about swap and spit. But not that we all made out with each other, but a lot of us did. And even the ones that didn't, we would all like drink out of the same fucking ranch dressing bottle. Like all the stereotypes, stereotypes about like all girls teenagers are true.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're just really disgusting. Because I mean, single sex.
Did you have sex when you were in Catholic school?
I had sex when I was in 8th grade. I was the first one in my grade to have sex, and I told everyone about it. And then I was fat, and I was like fascinated.
Call you a slut?
No, because I got in front of it. That's why I told everyone about it. They called me a slut behind my back.
MD was a prodigy of personal branding.
Yeah. So I just told everyone, and then they were so fascinated by sex because they were all so far away from having sexual intercourse that I would just tell them all about it. And
8th grade?
in 8th grade.
God, were you hot? I was so ugly.
I was way hotter in 8th grade. Yeah, I was super hot. Although I was like going through a fake punk phase, and I would wear like little boys SpongeBob SquarePants t-shirts as crop tops with like Dickies. It was really a bad time.
Checkered Vans.
Oh yeah, checkered Vans.
It's funny how all styles are like not really like based on geography, because like that was definitely cool.
Yeah.
In the Philadelphia suburbs as well.
Yeah. And like this was in New Orleans, but since we were too young to do anything except for go to all ages shows and go to the mall, my social life was in the suburbs, even though I lived in New Orleans, because we would have to go to the mall.
Yeah, you came to fucking Metairie to like smoke
Everyone
cigarettes in
went
a
to the
coffee
mall.
shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh?
Everyone went to the mall.
Yeah.
It's like all I did. I met boys from the internet at the mall.
Same.
Like
Man,
MySpace.
I can't believe
Yeah.
I got laid in 9th grade when I was still wearing like baggy like Beatles t-shirts
Oh, I can.
and like skater flip shit.
I
It's
fucking
just
where
like
did you grow up?
Minneapolis.
And you had sex for the first time in 9th grade. What about you?
I was 17. It was after a Lily Allen show and after I drank alcohol, or after I got drunk for the first time.
Wow. A lot of firsts.
A lot of firsts. The first time I ever saw Lily Allen, also the last. I saw her sing that song about the guy who's in Game of Thrones. It's beautiful. Beautiful night.
I remember it was so crazy because like people, there was like, I mean, the normal cultural stigmas around sex, but there were just so many like I think we were like a particularly like horny grade, and we were like we all talked about it.
Yeah.
Like pretty openly. It was just like a weird group of kids, but there were people who would just like get in relationships and then really want to fuck each other, but just like blow each other for like 9 months.
I actually lost my
no, that was
virginity before I
definitely,
got.
like-
go
Yeah.
ahead. I lost my virginity before I got either a hand job or a blow job. PIV was
Weird.
the first thing. Yeah, I met her at a ping pong
really?
tournament. Yeah.
That's so
Why?
weird.
I think I was just like 17 and like behind the curve. I went to a school called LSMSA, and the locals called it. It was like a public boarding school, and the locals called it Louisiana School for Marijuana, Sex, and Alcohol. So like I was like the fact that I hadn't had sex yet. I wasn't like a prude. I was just like an socially.
I don't know
horrible.
the person you.
Wait,
that
are you
lost your
also
virginity to.
from New Orleans?
Yes, but he's
Did you
from.
guys know each other?
Not until college.
Yeah, like I knew.
I didn't know who you were till freshman year of college.
Yeah, I knew your mutual. We have mutual friends. I
Yeah.
would say like Deja. I knew.
If we had had Facebook in high school, we would have known each other, but we didn't know each other till. I remember the day I was in love with and then sexually rejected by Glaviano when I was 19 years old.
Really?
Yes, but then we
never
didn't.
talked?
Huh? No.
You never talked?
Never. And then we didn't really become friends until after college, but we had mutual friends through college. Yeah.
Yeah. If
Not close friends.
like
Wait,
someone,
why did you reject her?
It's complicated. He rejected a lot of people.
No,
I
get
had-
into it.
I was
Thank
like,
you for asking that.
I would say I was mentally ill, extremely mentally ill.
You were really, really depressed.
Yeah.
That's why it's not my fault.
Yeah. And
Anyone rejecting you is not your fault. You're beautiful and perfect.
yeah.
Thank
I
you,
don't
Mindy.
believe in men rejecting women. It's totally unheard of. When it happens to me, I'm like, no.
No,
Yeah.
sorry.
It wasn't even that I was like,
Something else is going on here.
it wasn't even like I was I was having sex with other people. It was that like I didn't have like some sort of social template to use to navigate the situation. So I was like, I guess I won't do this because I don't know how to do it. So
I mean, also I only laid it on thick, I think once or twice. But the other times I would just like send you a text and you'd be like, sure. And then you wouldn't follow up to hang out. And I was just so stupid that I was like making up reasons. But also I do think that there's just something where like you should get it if someone's not into you, you should just get that and they shouldn't have to spell it out.
I will say that I do not have any memory of registering like, oh, like she's trying to hang out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So also I went to an all-girls school and this was so like for me, I had male friends. But, like, I had probably hooked up with most of them because boys were way more interesting to me than they really were. Like, all-girls schools are bad for that.
Yeah.
So I felt like
It makes boys into, like, this insane...
Exactly.
Exoticized, yeah.
So
So-
you kind of feel like that.
Right. And then it took me a few years of going to a state college to, like, be like, okay, now I know how to have male friends.
Yeah.
But at first I was like, if I'm texting a guy, he should know I want to suck his dick. Like, because why else would I text a guy? All my friends are girls.
Why would I want to talk to a guy?
Right. Yeah. Why would I want to talk to a guy?
Still, I mean, I don't have that many male friends because I'm not that into men. Like, it's just harder to... I like really like to like emotionally connect with people, and it's like a little harder to like do that with men because of like the way men are brought up. And so most of my friends are women,
Right.
and like I prefer that. So like sometimes if I do like a man, I'm like, why doesn't he get that I'm just like clearly trying to have sex with him?
Right.
Like I'm not trying to like start a fucking book club for
Friendship.
fun. Like I'm trying to fuck. Like that's what's going on. But it's like now like the new woke man like wants to be your friend or whatever. Like I kind of preferred it when like
They
men
assumed.
respect women and didn't want to be their friend.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to be your
I've got some
No,
weird kind
there's
of
a mix,
unearned
though.
confidence where if someone looks in my general direction, I'm like, "Ooh, yeah, they want."
I know. I think everyone wants to. I like do not like the way I look at all, but I also think everyone wants to have sex with me. I tweeted about this before, and it's very true. Like I'll walk down the street, and everyone that makes eye contact with me, I'm like, wow, it's really sad how much that guy wants to fuck
No,
me.
but that's what I mean, this is like really fucked up. But sometimes my friends will text me and they'll be like, I just don't know if this guy likes me. Like we're texting, but it just is kind of dry. Like, I don't know. And I'm just like, of course he wants to have sex with you. Like you're hot and he's like a dumbass dude. And they're like, I've never thought about that way. And I'm just like, that's the assumption I have going into any new
I think you're
relationship.
correct.
He's single.
Though
Yeah, I'm just
I think
like-
you're just smarter than your friends.
Yeah, I'm like, he's single. There's like nothing like physically wrong with me. So like, I'm sure if the situation presented itself,
He
Yeah.
would.
like,
Right.
I mean, there's a lot physically wrong with me, but you can't tell when I'm like dressed. So it's like, if the situation presented itself, like, I'm sure he would want to have sex because
For a second, I thought you were talking about being sick, and then I was like, I've been so horny that I would just straight up fuck someone with the flu. So
yeah, streptococcus.
it's like I will absolutely get the flu right now. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I've definitely done that. I have definitely gone out of my way to pretend I was not interested in people I was interested in because I didn't want to like freak them out or make them feel stressed.
No, totally. I mean, I actually do really feel bad for men because it would be really stressful if like I had to be the aggressor in like romantic situations. I just don't really know how to do that. The only times I've ever been like, hey, I think like we have crushes on each other is when it's like so fucking obvious.
Right.
And the person is just like too shy or respectful to do anything about it. But like in any other situation, I would never, like I've never kissed someone. Like like I've never initiated
Right.
a makeout.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't know how. And I think every time it's about to happen with a man, I'm like, this is so stressful. Like I feel so bad for him. Like I'm so nervous. Like it must be so much worse for him because he has to actually like do it and possibly one get rejected. And two become like a creep afterwards.
Yeah.
Right.
So, like,
The worst
you can
is
also
when
ask. I don't know. Like I don't know.
yeah, the can I kiss you thing.
Yeah. What do you think of that?
Usually,
I don't know. Well, not can I? Because that's
Yeah.
like, meow, can I? But
I think
like,
that was cooler.
do you
when
want
I was
to?
younger.
Like, I don't know. Yeah.
Do you want to make out? I don't know. I think I was just. I mean, people kind of knew I was a slut. I think guys knew I was a sure thing. Like because I would be very. I don't know. Not like I was really sexy or good at sex, but I'd be like, "Do you want to go back to my apartment?" Like they know what that means. Like most of the time, like there's nothing to do. I mean, I didn't have a TV. Like there was
so
nothing.
you're gonna fuck.
Right. I had a disgusting apartment that only had a bed. So it was like if I invite you back there and like the alcohol.
How did they know what your apartment's like?
Would you like to go
Well,
to
I
a
actually
disgusting
didn't have a
apartment
lot
that
of
only has a
casual
bed?
sex. I didn't have a lot of casual sex. I ended up meeting the guys I met online. Sometimes I would have sex with, and then those were the only one night stands I've ever actually had. And even then, we would at least text or something after. It was like I don't think I've ever had a full one night stand where like there was no communication at all afterwards, or like I didn't know his last name.
It was not good.
No, yeah. I've had my funniest. I guess this guy's a one night stand because we only fucked once and then he unfriended me on Facebook. But before he unfriended me, the condom broke and I wasn't on birth control. He was really attractive. Like he was definitely physically out of my league, but he was a douchebag.
Not possible.
I agree.
No man is more attractive than anyone. Sorry, I just
You're a very good person.
Yes.
no, I
Not
just like
possible.
I've never. There's women are so beautiful, and like men, even when they're hot, are like weird.
I'm saying you're a good person because I know you're being completely sincere right now. You're like not.
No,
Yeah.
I am. Like women, so beautiful. I mean, I'm also kind of gay, so that's like
Yeah.
part of it. But as someone who's had sex with women and men, I'm just like, it's so annoying to also be attracted to men because women are just better at everything.
Do you like avoid calling yourself bisexual? Because have you ever dated women or you've only dated men?
I've only ever dated men, and I don't call myself bisexual unless it like people ask because I just think it's obnoxious.
Same.
It's like no one needs to know about like
Right.
my life, and it's like I look whatever that means problematic, very straight, and I've always been in serious relationships with men, so it's like I'm not going to go out of my way to be like I'm oppressed because I eat pussy sometimes. Like,
Yeah, exactly. I think I've said that exactly.
I think
Yeah, I mean, it's all about passing. If you pass as straight, then like
Right.
you don't really suffer that
I
much.
felt so
I think it's
guilty.
problematic. I think you look gay. I don't know. That's it. You're definitely
my
not.
mom is gay, and she's gay married, and like my mom is obviously very well. Actually, middle-aged people, it's like the kind of
Yeah, you can't tell. Yeah.
You can't really tell, but if you saw her, you'd be like, yeah, she's like a big.
I'm a creep, and I've looked at your Facebook before because I'm a fucking weirdo. So I've seen your mom. I love when I see someone on Twitter. I'm like, I need to see more pictures of them and their families. So I like look at their
family,
faces.
so please look away.
But I am a creep, but I want you to know I'm a creep to everyone. I wasn't like trying to stalk you or find out anything nefarious. I just want to, I just want to know things about people because it like colors my perception
know
of them.
anything about me.
Yeah.
Usually.
And you've also tweeted about, I wanted to see your mom because you've tweeted about her being a mail carrier who loved burning. So I liked that.
Oh yeah, wait. Can you see my mom? She's on my phone.
Oh my God. Did you post that picture on Twitter? I feel like I saw that on
That's
Twitter.
so cute.
I know. I wish the shirt said Dykes for Bernie though.
Maybe, okay, that's where I saw your mom then, because I thought that was on Facebook, but you posted that on Twitter, I'm realizing.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just admitted that I stalked your Facebook. Aww.
Yes or no.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, I think that's funny that you said the thing about like people know you were a big slut or whatever, because I think I give off extremely similar vibes because I'm really friendly and I often wear revealing clothing. And also like, this sounds fucked up, but I think that if you're like conventionally attractive or at least somewhat, people desire you more. So they think that you are more into sex than you are, maybe. Like, they just make that jump in your head. So it's like, oh, this person,
like unilateral
like,
sexualizing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think people like think I want to have sex with them, but because I've learned that sex makes me insane and I cannot have it, like I have to stop myself from having it. So I like don't like move to another place if like I have sex in another place or like
oh fuck insane. I gotta go to Cincinnati. Damn it,
that's my new home because of the dick, man. So like I actually like do not have sex and like I'm probably like really prudish because of it, but I like seem so anytime I do have sex it's like a big deal, like a once in a blue moon thing.
When I was having a lot of sex, the sex I was having made me want to have more sex. That was my most promiscuous behavior when I would like feed off of it. That only happens to me now when I'm ovulating, when I get like sex crazed. And if I wasn't in a monogamous relationship, I would still fuck a ton of people during that time of the month. But like sometimes there were just the freedom of being like, I can fuck whoever I want. I would fuck like gross dudes just because those were the ones that I could be like, I want to fuck you right now and go to their houses. But like, men who had a little bit, I guess I am just disgusting. Although, but they didn't want to date me. I wouldn't have done that to someone who had feelings for me.
Right.
Like, I do think it's like okay to use someone for sex if it's like, if you're
mutual.
Yeah, if it's mutual. And like, I never did that to anyone. I would feel way too guilty doing that for someone who had, but usually if I don't want to date someone and they have feelings for me, it's probably because the sex was bad though. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Well, and also I think there's this new thing that like I've been seeing with my friends and in my own life too, where like people are like, they tell you up front, like, oh, I can't commit. I don't want in a relationship. It doesn't mean anything, blah, blah, blah. But then they think that like absolves them. Like they can just say that and then like
do whatever they want
with their behavior.
Yeah.
Right. So like keep fucking you over and over again. And they'll be like, but I don't like you.
Oh
and
boy,
like,
yeah.
I told you I don't like you. And I find that behavior like really horrifying because it's like this kind of like new woke thing where it's like, oh, we're being honest and communicative and like we're like sharing our boundaries, but then like actually doing the thing is like the opposite of that. But then you're like crazy if you
have feelings for someone. Yeah, I hate that. I hate that it's like uncool to develop feelings for someone.
It's such weak shit too to like use someone but like pretend you're being open. Like ugh.
Right.
Ugh.
Totally. Yes, that is the thing. It's like I'm being honest. I'm just like exploring my life. Like you're like allowed to leave whenever you want. But it's like actually like that's not how.
No, you being in love or even like having feelings for someone makes you insane, and it's incumbent on the person who's less insane to be like, I can't do this anymore.
To like actually stop being like a horny.
Because they're just horny, and the other person is insane and will delude themselves into thinking they're gonna like you one day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everyone just needs to be more sweet.
Yeah, I mean, or
more like you, Benjamin.
I actually know someone who ended up. So I know someone who ended up marrying some guy who kind of like dicked her around for years because it is. So that's why I extra don't think that the women are insane for not leaving because sometimes the dudes are just like, I just want to like, they want you to be their girlfriend in all intents and purposes. They don't want an open relationship because they don't want you to be able to fuck other people.
Right.
But they do want to string you along until they're ready. And like, it worked out fine for her, but like, cause I mean, I guess she was also fucking other people. So it just wasn't established that they were in a relationship and he didn't have like the commitment of like, meet my family, yada, yada, yada.
Right.
But like, you know that there is a chance that a guy's doing that to you. So if you like him, you're going to put yourself through that hell because he might, eventually. Because sometimes it does happen. And like, they're happy. He just kind of dicked her around for a while and she just knew that was the dynamic and waited it out.
Right.
I don't know.
But my friend, she and her college boyfriend, like they were at a bar one night when they were both in college. And they'd been together like a year or something. And he was like, I really want us to be in an open relationship. And this was like before open relationships were like as like hip as they are now. And she was like so upset and she like cried and was just like distraught. And she was like, why are you telling me this at a bar? Blah, blah, blah. And then ultimately she was like in love with him. So she was like, fine, I'll do it. And he like he could not fuck another woman. Like no one wanted to have sex with him. he like was fucking like rolling in dick. Like she was fucking someone new like every week and eventually like left him because she was like, there's so much dick out here.
Yeah.
Why am I with you?
Yeah, no, that to me is the most hilarious irony of the poly guy who vapes is like the transition from monogamy to polyamory is like you think it's gonna be like one thing, but actually no one's gonna want to fuck you and everyone's gonna want to fuck your girlfriend.
Right.
Yeah.
And also being single when you're in a long-term relationship. This guy who's a comedian, John Michael Bond, has been married to his wife. They got married when they were like 9 years old. And they're like cool and they're not like religious weirdos or anything. They live in LA, but they got married young. And he wrote this essay about like how when you think that you're going to, like when you get sick of someone, when you have, because he was like, it's hard to be with someone for that long. You go through a lot of shit. And he was like, you always envision being single as like, you're happy and you're fucking all these other ladies all the time. And you have this friend group that like that your wife's been keeping you from. And it's not at all that you're terrible at making friends. And there's a reason that you know what I'm saying? Like, and it is true that like, I'm not saying if you're in an unhappy relationship. And he was also saying, I'm not saying if you're in an unhappy relationship and you know it intuitively to be bad to get out. But if you prioritize, like, I don't know. I've noticed that when I've dumped people, because I sort of a serial monogamous, but I really like did numbers in the middle. And I have noticed that I always think being single is going to be so much more fun. And like, that's the reason I would dump people is because I was like, I want to fuck all these other people. And I was young. And then it was never that fun. Like I would, every fifth or 10th person I had sex with was good, but most of them were just like duds. Yeah.
No, sex with men is, I mean, that's like also one of the reasons, like, I have to know it's going to be good going into it.
Yeah.
Like, I have to know, or else I'm like, I'm not putting myself through this. Also, because, like, I don't know about you, but I get a yeast infection or a UTI every time I have sex with a new person. So it's just like, it's not worth it.
We have such similar everything, I feel. Like, I get...
Y'all look alike, too. It's very funny.
I know, like, it's literally rejecting a man.
I thought I've only had one real STD, and it's honestly uncertain if I ever did, because I got diagnosed with chlamydia, and then the test came back negative, but the medication they gave me for it treated it, but... Sometimes tests come back negative for chlamydia and you actually do have it. So anyway, I say I've had chlamydia, but I actually don't know. Other than that, I've only had BV and yeast infections, and it's the alternating because you take the BV medicine is strong-ass flagell antibiotics, which is fucking awful, and you can't drink, and it sucks shit. Have you ever had BV?
I've never had BV.
BV sucks shit. It's so bad. And then...
Yeah, a bunch of my friends get it basically every time they have sex with someone.
Yeah, I used to get it like every time, and then the medicine for it would give me a yeast infection. Knock on wood, I haven't had a bad yeast infection in like 2 or 3 years.
Dude, I mean, I rarely get them except sex with a new person, and then it's like definite, and it's just like, I'm like, is it worth it? Like, I'll be like fooling around with someone, I'm like, am I willing to get a yeast infection for this? And if the answer is yes, it's like, okay, cool, the sex is going to be cool, but if not, I'm not fucking doing it.
Yeast infections are the fucking worst. It's so debilitating.
Men are so lucky.
I know. It's so debilitating. Wait, one time I gave a guy...
They complain about condoms so much, and it's like, fuck you. That's like the least of it.
I gave a guy a yeast infection once, and he was older, and he was so neurotic about it. Yeah.
That's one of my big life fears.
Yeah. No, I gave it to him, and he was like, you gave me an STD. And I was like, I mean, if anything, it's a yeast infection. He's like, no, it can't just be a yeast infection. He was like... It's all, I don't know. Basically, he said more nice way. He was like, my dick is flaky. And I was like, I mean, go check it out. The only thing I could have given
Had he showered?
Yeah. Like, he was an old man. I mean, he wasn't old, but I was like 23 and he was probably like 40.
That'd be such a funny way to describe not being able to get hard.
Yeah.
Sorry, my dick is just sort of flaky.
He was just so neurotic. He was so neurotic, and he like didn't live here. He was staying at a hotel. And so he was like staying extended time at a hotel. So he had to go to like an urgent care, and he got diagnosed with a yeast infection. And it was so funny to me because he was like so accusatory to me. And I was like, I mean, you knew I had this, and you insisted on having sex with me, and that it would be fine.
You had sex on a yeast infection, though? I feel like
on
I
the
could
outs.
not.
I know.
Respect. We stand.
Yeah. It was like on the... It was like I had taken diflucan, and so I couldn't feel it anymore, but I knew it was still there because it was like...
I couldn't get wet. It's too uncomfortable.
Really? Yeah, it's not the coolest...
We're really going there.
Yeah, no, it was not the coolest sex I've had. Part of it was that I could tell he didn't like me that much, and I'd been having sex with him consistently, so I did not have great confidence at this time, so I was like, I need to like... he'll find
True.
someone else if I don't fuck this guy right now, kind of
I
thing.
hated being 23.
Yeah,
So hard.
yeah, it was awful. Maybe I
the worst.
was 24, but I think I was 23. Either way, I was under 25 for sure. And this guy was a total loser. But I thought he was really cool because he was hot and he was like a professor. But
Ew.
Oh, that dude.
not the one that you're thinking.
Oh, wait,
of.
different professor.
Different professor. I'll say it later. Anyway, he was hot though.
How old are you, Mindy?
I'm going to be 29 next month.
Oh,
You're
you
younger
got your
than
whole
us.
life ahead of you.
I know. But I'm an old soul. Can't you tell?
Yeah, I'm only 30. When's your birthday?
September 6th.
Ah,
I don't
okay.
believe in astrology.
You're slightly
Okay.
older than me.
I just want to
by
see
a
if our
couple
birthdays
months,
were similar,
so-
because even if you don't believe in astrology, it is weird if you have the same.
When's
birthday.
your birthday?
November 1st.
Okay. But you're getting married next month in
Yes,
September.
in September. Yes.
Mazel tov.
Thank you.
When we had a couple of lawyers, a couple of the current affairs editors on the podcast, and when they told us when we established that they were our age, me and Mary Devon just looked at each other and
It
then
was
laughed
horrible.
and then almost cried.
Yeah, it was so horrible.
I've
because,
still been younger than all you motherfuckers. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, no, it's not your youth. It's the youth plus the doing good in the world.
yeah. These people have accomplished so much, and they don't drink or smoke weed or do anything.
Oh, yeah, I'll never
And
accomplish
That to me,
anything.
I think is like a zero sum thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, how old are you guys?
We're both 30. You're 28, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We're the same age. When's
Yeah,
your
yeah, a couple months. December. Yeah.
Cool. Wow, do I just sound like a big whore? Is that what this podcast is going to be about?
No, I think I sound way more like a whore.
Well-
You sound just more honest. Yeah.
No, yeah. No, I mean, like, Mary Devon.
You're literally pointing fingers right now. That's fucking awesome.
Oh,
dude.
she definitely does.
Well, I'm just saying, like, come on.
No. This?
Huh?
Does your mom listen to this?
No, my mom doesn't know it exists. I actually have nightmares that she finds out about it.
My mom listens to this, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, my mom wouldn't listen to it if I told her. My mom doesn't come see me do comedy because I've told her it's about sex and she doesn't want to see me talk about it. But
Does she knows you have sex?
oh boy, yeah. My mom's known I've had sex. I got caught having sex. Oh god, I got caught having.
Actually caught in the act?
No, I didn't get. Not until I was 17, but I did. That did happen. But my parents already knew I was having sex when I was 14 because I got alcohol poisoning at a sleepover, and I told everyone that I'd had sex, and then they ratted me out. I puked all over everywhere, and it was my great uncle's funeral. So when the next morning, at like
Yeah.
It was- anyway.
Yes. This is so good.
So it was the worst day. I just remember my parents picking me up, me puking on the lawn in like Metairie, which is like a rich suburb, or it was like a rich part of Metairie.
Right.
Not all of Metairie is nice. Anyway, it was horrible. I was like it was in a, God, it was horrible. And then they called my parents. My mom was already embarrassed enough that her daughter had almost gotten alcohol poisoning. I puked like 8 times, but they didn't have to take me to the hospital. They just called the pediatrician, and they were like, just, stay up with her all night.
Yeah.
So it was my dad's uncle's funeral the next day, and they couldn't go to sleep because they had to make sure I didn't fucking die. And then I had to go. This is when I had dyed my hair black and would always straighten it. Anyway, I just want you to have a visual. So then the next day, after I already feel like shit, I have I don't even know if it's a hangover. It's just not sleeping and puking all night. Because you don't really get hangovers when you're 14, I learned. I was fine the next night. But I did my parents got called and they were like, we need to meet with you, the mom from the old house. And then she was like, your daughter's sexually active. She had sex with blah, blah, blah. And then my parents confronted me about it. And
Fucking
it was
snitch.
horrifying.
Yeah. God
it was
damn.
horrifying because my friends were worried about me, which honestly, whatever. The guy sucked, but yeah.
Y'all ever get
Your
caught
cry?
fucking?
Huh?
Did your parents cry?
My mom was really upset. My dad was really upset. They asked me weird questions that I was like, still haunt me. And
Can you share them?
it's like, I can't, it's so hard to say, but they asked me if it hurt, which I was like, why the fuck would you ask me that? Anyway, it was really creepy.
That is something a man with a medium dick says while he's fucking you.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like a child, and also the guy I fucked was also a child. So I was like, I didn't understand the big hoopla because it was like he was in my grade. So I was like, it's not like I was taken advantage of.
Right.
But they cared a lot, and they knew I wasn't gonna wait to be married to have sex. I think so. I knew my mom had sex, and anyway.
Wait, but at a later date, they walked in on you?
Yes, at a later date, they walked in on me. They let my boyfriend sleep over, and it was a.
Wow, even my parents wouldn't let me do that.
Well, they didn't let him sleep in my bed, but he was in college and I was still in high school, so the only way for him to visit was like, anyway. So they knew we were having sex, but my dad, like, I heard his footsteps coming, and then he heard me go back into my room because the rooms were connected by a bathroom.
Right.
And then he opened the door and I was alone, but I was like under the sheets like this. And then he like made me get dressed and come out and talk to him, and it was humiliating. So yeah, that was bad. But they didn't.
That's weird as fuck.
Okay, but they didn't actually see the fucking.
No. And then Michael, I think, was not allowed to sleep over anymore or something like
Not
that.
me. Another one.
Yeah, my boyfriend.
Michael's still allowed to sleep
After
over.
you spurned,
Huh?
after you spurned her advances.
Right.
Alright, you guys ever get caught fucking? This is fun.
There was a party.
It doesn't have to be parents, just like
Yeah.
caught.
There was a party on Ivanhoe Street in like maybe my freshman year of college, and someone that I had a huge crush on. I think I've told this story on the podcast. Maybe not. Stop me if I have. But like someone I had a huge crush on was petting a cat. Everyone else was outside smoking. It was late. It was like 4 a.m. or whatever. So like everybody who was still there was smoking except for this woman who was petting the cat, and I was like, oh, that's nice. I love you. I didn't say that, but I like sat down next to her, and I also was petting the cat, and then our hands met on the cat.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Really nice and
Yeah.
romantic.
And then she got up and she locked the door and locked the people who lived in the house out of the house.
Wow, that's so bold. I love her.
Yeah, she ruled. And
Y'all fuck that cat.
there was no penetration, but there was stuff, and the people outside were like, "Hey, what's going on?"
That's so fun. Wait, were you able to enjoy it and not just feel nervous about about locking people out of their own house?
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
No, I am way too neurotic. I could never.
I couldn't either.
I could never enjoy it if I thought, like, I can't even have sex. I have a guest room, and, like, if I have friends staying over, there's no fucking way I can have sex. And if I do, it has to be, like, the most silent sex ever, and half the time I, like, am thinking about it, so it's, like, can't focus on coming or whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah,
I think
no,
that
there's
being
no
worried
way.
about
And, like,
being caught is like super
Extremely hot,
Yeah,
yes.
definitely.
no, not hot to me at all. And like my really good friend and I were in this group chat with our other friend, and like sometimes I'll be like texting about like my feelings and like how I want to communicate them to this guy, like blah blah blah, like so like verbose and emotive, all this stuff. And my friend who's like not emotional is like, we're so different, it makes me love you more. And then today she texted me about how like she had sex at this like baseball field last night, like on the bleachers. And I was like, we're so different, it makes me love you more. Like I would never ever do something like that, because like I actually think sex is something to be at least like slightly ashamed of. Like you don't have to have like personal shame, but like you shouldn't include other people in it who don't want to be included.
Yeah.
Like my big fear in life is like burdening other people.
Yeah.
So that extends to like
Okay,
if
so
someone had to see me having sex, I would just kill myself.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for this old man. The only time I ever got caught fucking was during that period where we were like still kids and we weren't fucking. So we were all just blowing each other for 9 months. And there's like nowhere to fuck when you're a teenager.
Yeah.
So you can't you have to be creative.
Improvise, yeah.
And there was an out of order elevator at this public library. So me and this other child girl essentially went in there, and it was out of service, and there was like a big sign that said out of service, but the doors still worked. It just didn't go up and down. But I was like going down on a teenage girl. Yeah, the Aerosmith song was playing. But then an old man walked in on just two nude teenagers.
God.
And he was so ashamed of himself, even though it was like all
Yeah.
our faults.
Yeah.
But
Did you stop? Like, did you?
Oh yeah, we
like-
stopped. But the doors closed again because we weren't just gonna like go out.
Right.
So he just like got the fuck out of there because he was like,
Yeah.
I don't want to go to jail.
Right.
We're watching these children fuck each other. Oh my God, I would think about that every night before I went to bed. You know how like when you're in bed, you're like replaying all like. Tonight I'll probably replay like all the dumb shit I said on this podcast and I'm like, they hate me, I'm so annoying. But like that would be one of the things that would be in my like daily rundowns for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And he was old. Like, this is a sundowning man. This is like one of the last things that he's ever going to experience is like, oh no.
Yeah, he was the Sphinx's man on 3 legs, just like ready. Yeah.
But do old people like know? Like, I guess people who were like old when you were a kid, do you think they went down on each other? Sometimes I'm confused about like what
Yes.
old people
Some of them
do.
super did,
I
and some
don't-
of them super did.
There's
I don't
no
think
way
women got head in, like regularly until
I've seen The Sopranos, man.
sure. Well, that was not a long time ago.
The 90s.
Yeah, no, I think it was definitely a mix.
I think we're talking
Because,
about like the 50s.
Oh, okay.
I don't think that. I think that like lesbians, obviously, and then like really cool men that weren't like conventional. But I don't think it was like. I think it'd probably be viewed as sexually deviant because it
People
was
have been doing
and
everything
women
forever.
literally went insane because they weren't having orgasms.
orgasms, right?
Their doctors were like, "Here's a vibrator."
Right, and they would masturbate them. They wouldn't be like, "Go use this on yourself."
Right.
They would, yeah, yeah. It's disgusting, but
Oh man, have y'all ever read Emma Goldman's like love letters?
No.
It's fucking awesome.
Like,
She was
on a scale of 1 to Joyce, what is it? Like, is it like
if Joyce
gnarly?
is a 10, 9.
Oh, okay.
9, yeah.
All right. But like, is there like poop
She
involved?
called no.
All right.
She called her pussy
Still a
a
9.
treasure box, which
Hell
fucking
yeah.
rules.
Yeah.
But people have been doing everything forever.
Yeah.
yeah, some people. But I would say like it's like I think men who don't eat pussy are are not the norm anymore.
Right.
Like-
Right. You know how like DJ Khaled was like, "I don't."
Yes,
Yeah.
it was and he got
And that
canceled.
was like a huge deal.
Yeah.
Like 50 years ago, someone couldn't say that, and it wouldn't like they couldn't say that because it wouldn't be a big deal.
Right.
It would just be assumed that like no one went down on their.
It's literally the reason why someone tried to kill Tony Soprano in the first season is because he told someone that
He ate
a guy
pussy.
ate pussy. Yeah.
God, that season's so good.
It's really good.
I can't watch that show.
I mean, the
Is
DJ
it too
Khaled
violent?
thing.
No, I just can't deal with like any kind of suspense. Like I can't watch The Wire. Like I have to Wikipedia everything I watch before I watch it. But I've only seen the first season of The Wire, and
Yeah.
when Hollis dies, it like I would like couldn't get out of bed for like a day or two. Like I was like, and I was like, I can't go through this for like multiple seasons.
Yeah.
Like I'm too.
It's
like,
fine. He actually grows up and gets super buff and rich, so everything's cool.
in real life, but not on the show.
I know, dude. Oh man.
Who was
that
it? Who is
scene.
it?
Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
little
Who is
baby
so hot.
Michael B. Jordan.
I
And
haven't
in
seen The
Creed
Wire.
and Creed 2. Have you seen the Creeds?
No.
No, but I love boxing movies.
Wait, you love boxing movies, but you haven't seen Creed? They're
No.
so good. They're set in Philadelphia and in my neighborhood.
I only watch television with my partner, and she doesn't give a shit.
It's movies.
About
Okay,
boxing
the thing
movies.
is that I don't really like violence, and I don't like sports. But like anyone would like Creed and Creed 2 because one, it's set in Philadelphia, great town. I don't know if you guys have been, but it's really good. And it's like a love story, and there's like romance and stuff, and like also like familial bonding,
Yeah.
which like is a tearjerker.
Yeah. Oh,
So you'll like it.
all right. I'll go
Okay.
watch it.
We should watch that and talk about it.
Oh, I would. Well, that's we suggested it. So Benjamin's like has this like hobby horse where he's like we should watch a like 8.
I want to watch.
movie series.
I want our podcast to review every single one of the Fast and Furious movies because they started right after 9/11
Right.
and they're still happening. And I feel like you can tell the story of our culture
Of like late capitalism.
through.
Yeah.
Is the main guy still in them? Vince, whatever. Wait, is that his name?
Vince Diesel.
Vince Diesel.
Added extra letters.
Yeah.
No.
Is he still in them?
I think
He is. Paul Walker is not.
Yeah. R.I.P.
On account of he died.
Wait, he died. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
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 Oh, it's important to me just for the sake of getting the canon straight, getting the lore of the podcast straight.
Mm-hmm.
The story that I told about the being locked into the party, that was also the time that I fingered a lady and she came and then she turned around and said, "There, that wasn't so hard, was it?" She was a little bit older and
How much older?
a year, but she had
Emotionally.
she had decades more sex than I had
Yeah,
at that point.
yeah.
Yeah.
You just mean cooler. She was cooler.
Oh no, she was
than you.
way cooler. She still is way cooler.
She said this was your first sexual experience with this woman?
Yes. Yes.
That's like kind of a mean thing to say. I feel like
It'd
if
be
you had
so
been
funny if she
trying
was
for a
talking
long
about your
time
dick.
And it happened. It would make sense for her to be like, "Good job. See, it wasn't so hard." But like,
Were you nervous though? Is that why she said that?
Yeah, I think she probably read the room, and also like, yeah, I don't know. I think I was probably visibly very nervous.
But you weren't offended.
That was my first beach,
Oh wow.
Yeah.
This was this was freshman year?
freshman year of college.
I want to know who it was. Tell me after the pod.
I'll tell you after the pod.
Okay.
okay, here's the thing that I wanted to ask earlier that I didn't get a chance to.
Okay.
And I want to know if you agree as a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Men seem to enjoy sex more than women.
Let's see. I don't think I agree, but what I will say is I cannot get into the male brain enough to say if I agree with that or not. But when I'm in a relationship, I'm way less horny than when I'm not in a relationship because I think that I'm using sex for something other than sexual pleasure. I'm using it for validation.
Be close or whatever.
Right. And so I think I definitely will say a lot of the times when I was like, I'm horny, I love sex just as much as men, it was actually that I was getting something out of sex other than sex itself. And men, I do think we're just actually horny more often. So that is what I will say. Like,
I just feel like when I come, I'm like, this is cool. Like, I like it. I would like it to happen again. But men, it seems like way cooler. Like, I just would love. I would love to have a dick
It's
for one
fucking
day.
awesome.
I mean,
I would love to have a dick for a day, but I also love. I think what I would really love is to have a prostate because I hate anal stuff and also it just sucks to just have a pussy because it gets sick, it gets tired. It's hard. You have to make it wet. And it gets dry, and then my clit, and like it's just pussies are just I hate them. Like I think that they're great. I love other people's pussies, but they are way more temperamental than dicks.
Totally,
and I
it
think
a lot more.
It's like a lot more.
That's the thing. Men get boner. Like this is something I've struggled with men I've had like long-term sexual relationships with. They are fucking always ready to fuck. Like they have a boner. Like, we'll be watching a sad movie and they'll have a fucking boner because you're like, arm is
The Notebook.
like, they like cannot help it. It's like being in middle school.
I lost my virginity right after watching The Notebook, but it was an inside joke that me and her had that was
like,
going to happen.
bad.
Yeah, it was like funny that
Yeah.
because I don't know. We knew it sucked, but it was funny.
I think you just might be sexier than I am because dudes
No, I'm definitely not.
dudes similarly to the way I get in long-term relationships are the same with me. Like we have to fight to be like, oh, we haven't fucked in 5 days or a week. We have to fuck now.
No, that's everyone in a long-term relationship. Like you really do have to like.
Yeah, but
It is
definitely
really important.
But definitely in the beginning, men initiate it way more than I do, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just feel like sometimes they're just like ready to fucking go and like they think that you are the same.
Right. Oh, no. Whenever people in movies jump right into sex, I'm just like, okay, her pussy is sandpaper right now. Like, you don't just start kissing and then shove it in. That's insane. I've only been that horny like twice in my life where I just like immediately... And like that's something that the other person can tell, but I'm just like, there's no way it would be in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Like they just go into sexual intercourse so quickly. And I know that's for like the sake of sin. I don't think I'm not like that's, I don't know. I don't care
But
that
that's
much.
a problem with porn.
Right. Right.
One of the many
problems.
I mean, I think that the distinction between like how men enjoy sex and how women enjoy sex is kind of like the difference between like getting a massage and then like having psoriasis and scratching. Do you know what I mean? It's like a massage is like it's
too. It's this scenario.
Well, I mean,
yeah, I'm fucking
men have
baffled by
psoriasis.
Men have
whatever.
psoriasis.
Men are getting rid of something bad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like a massage is like an aesthetic experience. You don't need it all the time.
Right.
Man,
You have to be in the right mood for it.
Right. Whereas
think
if you
for-
have psoriasis, you never have to be in the mood to scratch your
Yeah.
psoriasis.
I think for me,
I think this is probably
it's all
fucked
like
up, but-
ego shit, probably. But sex is the best thing ever, and the whole thing I'm trying to do, if I'm fucking, is to be like, I hope you're having as good of a time as I'm having.
Yeah.
And so you just try really hard to make sure that everyone's having a good time. Especially if you're, because like I don't know, being a horny dude, I guess, is fun.
Benjamin is a big part of his identity is how horny he is. It's
the only thing I think about.
No.
Except for how much I hate myself.
Yeah, there are two
No.
things.
I love to fuck and I hate myself.
Sides of the same coin, really.
yeah.
You have two character traits. One is you're really horny, and one is you are a pathological people pleaser. That's
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
There we go.
Yeah.
You're so good at fucking figuring me out, man.
I just say the same thing on every episode, and you're like, wow.
Nobody ever says you're like. I appreciate you. Thank you.
I love you too. If you have to pee, you can pee also. We do this thing where we just one at a time disappear for 5 minutes.
Oh, cool.
That's way too long.
I do actually have to pee.
Yeah.
But I don't. Someone might be in my bathroom right now, so I'm gonna wait.
All right. Well, let us know, and we can.
Okay. Cool.
We'll talk amongst ourselves.
Thanks. You're not gonna talk about me and how I'm annoying, though, right?
No.
That's like,
What?
No,
so
you're great. Also, you're a perfect guest because you're also doing the interview, and we suck at that.
Yeah.
So thank you. Oh my god! And there's a cute little dog again. All
Did your
right.
dog just get a haircut?
podcast start.
How did this podcast start?
Yeah.
Oh, so she's gonna keep interviewing. It was a classic.
You wanted to
example.
start a podcast with Mary Devon, and I wanted to start a podcast with Mary Devon,
Yeah.
and
Wow, Mary
and
Devon
MD.
was not good.
Yeah, MD was like I've been.
Are you all comedians separately? You all do stand-up comedy?
These two more seriously than I do. I'm a dilettante. I do it like once a week. But I think it was basically like MD didn't feel particularly compelled to do a podcast with Benjamin because they saw each other like 5 times a week at Mike's, whereas like I was never around.
no, we definitely were going to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
but then
He's like, no, Mary Devon did like.
yeah. Well, I mean, I love that we're having this conversation now that she's gone, but I like we did have plan. Like
Yeah,
we were
yeah.
going to. I think part of it was that we're both very dumb, and you are like, I know how chords work.
I can put.
Yeah, do you do all the like sound and?
Yeah, but I think Benjamin's offered before. They're both constantly being like, "Hey, like, what can we do?" And I'm just a control freak, and like
I understand. I have similar qualities.
the editorial. Do you have a podcast also?
No,
You
I
should.
don't. Not in a mean way. I don't understand like
The impulse.
Yeah, I just like don't have. Clearly, I have a lot to say on this podcast as a guest, but like, I just couldn't imagine anyone wanted to like listen to me talk for an hour.
See, okay, I have a similar thing about Twitter because like I enjoy it, but I don't think I have enough thoughts to tweet often.
Well, I have many thoughts, and I just tweet them with abandon. Like, I don't really care if anyone thinks this is interesting or not. But I also have a private Twitter account that I use for my like
Holy
really
shit.
deep, dark thoughts.
Do you post more on the private one or more on the public one?
It depends if I'm going through like a personal crisis.
So currently,
Like, currently I'm tweeting a lot more on my private account. Like, I want to die. Because also, if you tweet shit like that on your public account, you can get like suspended and stuff. So like, I don't want to risk that because that would just be really annoying. Because I do love Twitter. And like, anytime I've gotten suspended for a day for being like, if you like curse at like a blue check mark person, they like cut you off for 24 hours. And like, it really does show you like how addicted to the internet we all are. I'm like I keep like refreshing or like try to tweet and like it won't let me. And it's like, you're still suspended for like 23 hours and 52 minutes.
what's the last thing you got suspended for?
I can't remember. It was something totally reasonable. It was something totally reasonable.
Yeah.
I mean, like Twitter's actually like really fucked up, as we all know. Like all social media is. It's like these fucking knots. Like I get insane messages like "kill yourself," like "Jew kike," like you know, like shit like that.
I only get those from my brain.
Also, I send them to myself, but I'll report them, and like Twitter will be like, "This didn't violate our terms of service," and like I'll be like, "Fuck you, bitch," to like Alan Dershowitz again, for 24 hours. It's really crazy. Wait, speaking of Alan Dershowitz, can we talk about Jeffrey?
I would love to talk about Jeffrey.
Okay.
I mean, this is going to be, if we start talking about Epstein, this is going to be a 6-hour podcast.
I know.
I have way too...
Everyone go around and say your theory.
What theory? Okay, on how he died, or if he's dead?
What
or...
happened? Did he die?
My
Or is he on an island getting plastic surgery somewhere?
my thing is
I
that
think
anyone
he's probably dead. That's what I think. I think he's probably dead, but he might not be. I don't know.
I think anyone who is 100% sure of what happened is a fucking idiot, and there's a lot of that, including
Me?
No.
Oh, yeah,
What
yeah,
do you
yeah.
think happened?
What do I think happened?
Yeah, both of you.
I think that he probably was murdered. I mean,
I think he was murdered too. I mean, I just don't think that. I think that anyone else in his position, I'd believe that they took their own life. But he was obsessed with living.
He wanted to freeze his dick
Yeah.
and live forever.
That's what I told Suzanne
For real.
today.
If I were him,
He said that like a fucking week ago. He was like, I want to live forever and freeze my dick. And then it's like, so he killed himself. He tried to kill himself twice in a week. Fuck off.
yeah. I mean,
Fuck off.
I also think
he's
that
he's the pimp fucking CIA agent who's at the center of a goddamn pedophile billionaire ring.
yeah.
Of course they didn't let him talk. They killed him.
If I were,
or he got out. I don't know.
If
Maybe.
I were a billionaire who Epstein had dirt on, and I wasn't planning on killing him, I would do everything in my power to make sure he didn't kill himself, because everyone would think I killed him. Do you know what I mean? Like you would have to go so far. I personally,
It's a different justice system for these people.
Of course.
I mean, not to sound like all the shit we already know, but it's like, I feel like if you're a billionaire and you probably don't think about that because like you just know you won't face consequences. Like it was insane that like there was so much. I feel like the thing about Jeffrey Epstein was like there had to be so much evidence against him. It took years and years and years, and finally there was maybe going to be like a taste of justice. But like for everyone else, they're like, oh, I could definitely get away with killing him and like make it look like a suicide because like I can do whatever I want.
I mean, I think the reason people are freaking out so much about Epstein, which is good, they should, is that like the nature of his crimes are specifically garish and bizarre to normal people, but that's only because we've normalized war, which is like mass death on a scale that we can't even like truly comprehend. Like fucking, I mean, to Saudi Arabia at least basically did 9/11. So whatever like you think about conspiracy theories and that, like there are connections to extremely like powerful other like world countries. That you can't say there's not some kind of conspiracy because that's how you do those things. 9/11, fucking the Iraq War, every war is based on a lie that billionaires tell, and millions of people die.
Yeah.
So like, of course these people like know how to like run a conspiracy. And I think with Epstein, it's just like, I don't know, possible ritual kid fucking is like not something that we've normalized yet. But it's the same people doing the same things. I don't know.
No, that makes sense. Actually, I've never really thought about it that way. And I saw like a thing on Twitter about like a U.S. soldier in Iraq who like raped like child, like an Iraqi child, and killed her family. And his like reasoning was like, I didn't think that they were people. And like reading that, I was like, you know, like took my breath away. But then it's like, well, actually, like that's kind of the whole
point.
thing. Like that's how like all of it works. And like I remember like I was an organizer on the like Piper 15, the fast food campaign, and like I'd become Facebook friends with all these fast food workers, and they would share all these like Illuminati like conspiracy memes that were like, a lot of them were like really anti-Semitic, and like at first I would kind of like feel some type of way about them because I'm like obsessed with anti-Semitism. But then I just got to a point where I was like, well, actually, like everyone's just trying to understand the world that they're like born into and how fucked up it is. And like, it's kind of easier to be like, oh, it's this like secret cabal of like Jews than like actually capitalism,
it's just money
which
and power,
like,
right.
is how
Yeah.
like this is how it's supposed to function.
Yeah.
Which is like even darker.
Yeah.
It does suck for us Jews that like Dershowitz and Epstein and like
they make it so hard to be
the Mossad, the fucking Mossad is connected to all this too, which like some people deny existing, which is like, oh, go fuck yourself. But yeah, it sucks.
I know, it's so hard. Like literally the worst people in the world are Jewish, and I hate it. But then also Bernie Sanders, best fucking guy, and is so Jewish. It's like, how great.
Yeah, we make some mentions, but you know, every once in a
You win
while,
some, you lose some.
yeah.
They're like good Catholics too, like probably.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, thank you. We were not digging.
I'm not religious,
Yeah,
so I
me
don't really
neither.
identify with. Yeah.
How funny would it be if this was a Tradcath podcast that we just trapped you onto?
Control, like whatever.
What's that?
Don't you have like a?
I mean, I'll probably, if we have kids, I'll probably get my kid baptized
I might do that.
for the sake of like my family, but like I don't believe in God. So, but I guess it's like, if I do believe in God, I don't believe it's like the Catholic God, but I'm also really superstitious and kind of afraid that Catholic God is real because there's been a bunch of shit that's, anyway, I don't know.
Yeah. The running joke in my family
Are
is
Catholic parents obsessed with like you having kids?
My parents aren't. My parents, I think my mom loves me so much, but sometimes the way that she warns me about not having kids if I don't want to, I'm like, do you wish you didn't have me? Like, but she loves me so fucking much, but like,
they're not mutually exclusive.
right. But I don't think that she regrets having me, but I do think that she's like, I think that she didn't know if she wanted, it wasn't like her whole identity. And then she ended up like not working, and which she was like lucky to be able to do, but I think that she hates how much being a mom ended up being her identity. Anyway,
That's really intense.
yeah, I know. Sorry.
No, I mean like that's like a lot for like women to deal
Yeah,
with.
it is. Yeah. So because she's always been very kind. My dad would never pressure me, but he's always like, well, you know, if you have kids, because I'll always be like, well, we wouldn't have kids till we were more stable. He's like, oh, don't worry about that. No one ever's ready to have a kid, you know?
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah. And then
Really is never the right time.
it really is never like,
Especially now.
right. And so I know my dad wants us to have kids. My mom is very like, don't rush it. You never have to. So they're very nice about that. But I think I want to have kids because I'm obsessed with babies too.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Do you want to have kids or you don't think so?
Yeah, I definitely do, but sometimes I get freaked out about like the world. But I
Yeah,
just try to
same.
remind myself that like, not to be corny, but like people had babies during the Holocaust, and like
Right.
people have babies in like they live in like they're gonna like their house is gonna be underwater in like a year.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. But my parents are like really stereotypically Jewish about babies, like obsessed. Like my mom and her partner like got this, they just like moved to their like retirement house. It's like their last house, whatever. And they like gave us the tour and they're like, this is the grandkids room. It's like there's no grandkids. Having a grandkid. They're just like obsessed. It's like all they think and talk about. And like, I don't know, Benjamin, is your family like that?
So I have two older sisters who have kids, which
Oh, you're lucky.
yeah, it kicks ass. I have 3 nieces and 3 nephews. So I'm kind of also my parents like, I mean, my mom listens to this podcast. She knows how like dumb I am.
Hey, Benjamin's mom.
So I mean, I don't know. I think I want to at some point, but I roll tacos for a living. Like I'm not doing great. Like
Yeah, the money
I
stuff is
can't
really
I can't afford a dog. Like
Yeah.
Dogs are expensive.
yeah, kids
Well,
are more
also, like-
expensive.
Well, it's actually, I mean, not to be like, everyone should be like a welfare queen or whatever, but like, if you're actually broke, there are, I don't know what it's like in Louisiana, but here, Pennsylvania is like pretty backwards, and we still do have like you can have health insurance for your kid if you don't have money. Yeah. And like you don't have health insurance for a dog. Not that dogs should have health insurance. Maybe they should. I don't know.
And
but
then
like,
there's also the whole like environmental catastrophe
I
thing.
know, it's really scary.
Yeah. It is something to think about, though.
Sometimes I'm like, I didn't ask to be born. Like when I'm upset about the world.
And also sometimes I'm like, if I don't have a kid, will I just be miserable and lead a miserable life? Because I think that like asking someone, I'm like, I don't know. It's like, is it selfish to bring a kid into the world if everything's going to shit? Or will I do more? And this is kind of a bullshit excuse. Will I do more to make it better if I have something that makes my life more valuable? And like, if everyone had that mindset, would we all do more to make it more valuable? I don't know. But I just think
most parents don't give a fuck about shit. So I don't think that necessarily.
Do. I mean,
I just really love love. And I feel like having a kid is like the top form of love. Like it's like a love I've never experienced and I really want to.
Yeah, same. Also, as much as I love booze and cigarettes, I really want to be pregnant, which is really weird. But
dude, me too. I think I'm going to be like super hot pregnant. Like I think I'm going to be like really hot pregnant broad. I'm excited.
I get really jowly even not pregnant if I just like eat too much or drink too much for a few days. So I know I'm not going to be that hot pregnant. I know I'm going to be one of those women that like grows out in every direction and mostly in my face. But
that's so cute. Like I just think pregnant people are so fucking cute. It's like they have a baby. Like it's like so crazy. Like they have a baby and someone can like do whatever they want and like they can like the thing is like you know how like I don't know. I would never wear like a regular bikini that wasn't like high waisted because like my stomach isn't like flat or whatever. But it's like when you're pregnant, you can like do stuff like that and like you don't have to feel self-conscious because like there's a baby in your belly.
Right. That's true. Yeah.
Man,
no one can judge you.
My sister had twins and she carried it in like.
Oh yeah, you're a twin.
Yeah. No, it seems so insane. Like to give birth twice in a row, fucked up.
She like carried the babies in like the absolutely most comical way that you can like for a body because it was just forward. So her belly went out like straight, but like if you saw her like from behind, you'd be like, oh, that's just a normal lay, and then like turn to the side and then just like wham. Giant belly.
That's how Ashley Branch carried her last child, who was 12 pounds. Our friend is 6'3" or 6'2" or 3. She played college basketball. She has 3 kids, and they've all been big. She had a 12-pound baby, and her stomach was like, I swear to God, it was like out to Michael's elbow. Like it was like huge. Did you see that picture she posted?
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, that was insane.
Stuff about birth, and I feel like it's my duty to just tell everyone that like when you give birth, you shit. Like a lot.
Oh yeah.
And like the person who got you pregnant is in the room, so I don't know if anyone feels some type of way about that.
I mean,
they
maybe
fucking cut you from your pussy to your asshole.
I know.
Is that what an episiotomy is?
Yes.
Okay.
I saw my friend's
that doesn't
perineum rip.
What's that? You saw your friend's perineum rip?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It was bloody.
I just feel like you can't recover. Like I just feel like I couldn't enjoy sex after. That is my one fear, is that sex will forever be maybe not ruined, but different.
It would be. Yeah.
I mean, like you pushed a baby out of your pussy. Like, you know how when you're like a kid and like everyone's talking about all the sluts in your grade and they're like, well, what's going to happen to her pussy? Like it's going to be so loose or whatever. Like, that doesn't happen in sex, obviously.
That
but
slut's pussy
when you have a baby,
so loose when she fucks our tiny little dicks.
But when you have a baby, it actually is what happens.
Is it for sure? Definitely.
Yeah, dude.
You're like peeing.
That's what the husband stitch is for.
Yeah. The
exercises.
Yeah.
And sometimes they do like an extra stitch, which is like fucked up.
It is. They call it the husband stitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, no, it's real. That's one thing that annoys me about people I don't know, like your pussy will be.
Maybe it would just, I don't know, if it ever hurts, maybe it would hurt less then. I don't know.
I mean, sex hasn't hurt for me unless there's something wrong. I mean, my pussy hasn't been so tight that sex hurt since the first time I had sex, and it didn't even hurt that bad. I did bleed though.
You probably need to use lube.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a PSA to anyone listening.
Yeah.
Lube is good and healthy.
True.
One byproduct of being raised Catholic without any sort of sex talk is that I still don't masturbate with lube.
Interesting.
Wait, men use lube to masturbate?
Well, do you hang out with uncircumcised people? Like, why do you think that that's not the case?
Hang out with them.
Because you use lube.
Do I fuck
To
uncircumcised?
jerk off?
Yeah.
I mean, every once in a while. I mean, I'm having a damn evening.
Do you use spit? Do you use any sort of mitigating fluid?
Not all the. I mean, most of the time, no.
Are you circumcised?
Yeah.
He has a covenant with fucking God, obviously.
Okay, so maybe I'm
Are
not.
you circumcised?
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, most people
MD, what about you?
born in the U.S. are circumcised.
Most people what?
Most people born in the U.S. are circumcised.
Yeah.
So, like, I have had sex with people who are not circumcised, and honestly, like, I don't know. You can only tell the difference when their dick is not hard because it's like a turtle. Like, it feels bad.
It's like It's like a shy Steve Jobs with his turtleneck pulled up around his head.
Yeah, like comes out like, and I don't ever want to see a flaccid dick. So it's like, if I'm gonna touch your dick or look at your dick, it's gonna be hard.
Yeah.
So you can't really tell. But yeah, I guess it's probably true that like there's more stuff if they're uncircumcised. I guess I didn't think about it that way. But it's like if you're using a condom, it's really all the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I use a condom when I masturbate 100% of the time.
Uncircumcised
Dude, I did
penises
that.
are good and bad.
I did that when I was a kid to like practice. I was like, I'm gonna need to know this, and I
We're
was
not
like,
even talking about the game.
No, honestly, that's good because men act like condoms are like
the worst
literally
thing in the world. Yeah.
they're like, why bother? And it's like, okay, don't bother then. And then they're
Right.
like, wait, no, I didn't need it.
So you just play pregnancy chicken? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, I think all women, I don't like condoms either, but it's like, I don't know, it's a crazy world out there.
Yeah. I also think that like I still use condoms and we're getting married because I don't like birth control, but we don't always use condoms because I don't think I'm that fertile. I've never been pregnant and like we've pulled out and my friend got pregnant from pulling out because it technically
She's
can
lying.
happen. Huh?
She's lying.
I mean,
Sorry.
her husband, she says that he pulled out successfully and then she got pregnant. The pullout rate is
yeah,
apparently.
I'm with you. That didn't happen.
I mean, people do get.
It's amateur hour. I was on the pull-out method because I didn't feel like getting on birth control. Never once even had a scare. It's like,
Yeah.
there's only so much cum. If it's not inside you, you're not getting pregnant. Like,
Yeah.
people are just busting early and they're too ashamed to say it.
Right.
They should just say it so you can get plan B.
Right.
Yeah, they just
exactly.
They pull out and then they pull.
That should be on
There's-
billboards everywhere.
there's
People are
technically
busting
a
too early. They
chance-
need to pull out and get plan
No, what's
B.
happening is they pull out and then squirts 2 and 3 land on the stomach. Squirt 1 went
Yeah.
in, but nobody says anything
that's
about
exactly
it.
what
Well, but
she's
that's not
saying.
That's what
pulling
I'm
out.
Yeah.
No, exactly. I'm agreeing with you two. And
There's
Right.
multiple?
Yeah. Well, I also think.
oh
that,
yeah, it's like it's like a
Oh, no,
spasm.
you can feel it. You can feel it. I'm just like, yeah. Okay,
Wait,
I
you?
get it.
No, yeah. There's more. Come on, you've seen
You
it.
can tell.
You've
well,
seen a
also,
dick.
If
Did
a
you think
guy,
it was just like one like? Bleh?
okay, but if
No,
a,
don't look.
It's like
but you can feel come inside you when you stand up. Like if I don't believe that she would have.
Yeah, it comes out of it. Literally drips out.
It drips out. So I do think there is a possibility that like he just pre-came and there was live sperm in it. I don't know.
no, I mean definitely.
I'm real.
We've all seen scrubs.
I mean, I think pre-cum's real. Whenever I'm jerking a penis off, like clear stuff comes out.
But
at the
that's
beginning.
But that's.
This
That's
girl-
ectoplasm.
This girl is
It's a
also
haunted
super fertile,
penis.
and
That's
and
semen
had,
and not sperm.
She
there
had
is
an
a difference.
abortion. She had an abortion, and then when they got married, because she had an abortion when they were engaged, because they just gotten engaged, and she like didn't want to be pregnant at her wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Why
And
didn't she get on the birth control pill? Not in a judgy way. Just
Wait, what?
why didn't she get on the birth control?
I hate birth control pills. I think that she also knew that she wanted to have kids fairly soon, but she didn't want to have kids like then. Then she got pregnant pretty much immediately after they did get married. Not because she wasn't married, but because it would suck to be pregnant at your own wedding.
No,
But
you can't get drunk.
yeah, exactly. And it would just suck shit because you never know what kind of complications you're going to have or if you're going to be bedridden, So
And it's good in your dress.
right, exactly. So anyway, so she She's
Wait,
just.
I really have to pee.
I do too.
Yeah.
Yes, I do too.
Me and MD will talk, and then
Yeah,
we'll all pee.
right.
And then we'll probably
Cut it.
shortly after Mindy gets back, we'll end up cutting. Oh, I like your room.
I know, it looks very cozy. We should move to Philly. That would be a good place.
That sounds great. Yeah.
Not just to do it, just in general.
Yeah, let's leave together. No, the pod could move to Philly.
This is a good one. We need more Jews as guests.
Yeah, I
It's-
think
they are the perfect guests.
Jews and sex talk is good, and now we got both.
Yeah.
So yeah. My ears itch a lot. I don't know why they itch so much, but I hate
The
it.
inside or the outside?
The earlobes, are they very red?
Like in the front or in the back?
Both, the whole thing.
You look fine. I
Okay,
think you look
they're
very
not
normal.
very red.
Yeah.
But it's these things. They're too hot.
You really hate the headphones.
I do hate.
They're
the
they're podcast condoms. That's what they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't hate condoms that much.
Oh.
Okay, I'm back. I was ready to hear about the abortion story. But you guys don't have it.
I think MD's peeing now.
Unless you have your own abortion stories. That could be good.
No, just how many scares have you had? I've had 2 scares.
How many scares?
Mm-hmm.
A lot. But how many realistic scares?
Like credible scares.
1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm infertile, and it's a fear of mine.
Yeah.
I just had a real scare, and I've been on birth control. I mean, I've been on birth control on and off forever. My parents, they're like, you're going to have sex. You're getting on the birth control pill.
You know, they got fucking. So there's this technology that was started, like, it was introduced to a very small bit of the general public in India for a while, where it's male birth control.
Oh, the little injection?
Yeah, you get a little silicone injection in your urethra, and you still bust.
Yeah.
But it kills the
It's like
sperm.
in your vas deferens or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's completely reversible, and it's extremely cheap. And I think that's why they won't give it to the public, is because they can keep selling women pills that they have to fucking take over and over and over again.
I mean, birth control is pretty cheap, but it has like, okay, so the reason my parents put me on it so young was because of sex, but also because at a time the research said that being on birth control lessened your risk of breast cancer or ovarian cancer, one of them. And because, like, the kind of Jewish I am, that I'm high risk of both of those things. So my dad wanted me on birth control. But now the research basically says the exact opposite, that it, like, increases your chance of, like, women's cancers. So it's also just like there are a lot of whatever it's called. What is the word? Things that happen.
Externalities?
What?
No.
Events?
Like no, like at the end of commercials for medicine, it's like
side effects.
Oh, side effects. Yes. Okay. There are all these fucking horrible side effects for a lot of women, like horrible mood swings, like depression, or like you lose your sex drive.
We're talking about birth control?
Yeah.
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 So it's like all this shit that no one cares about, but it's like if there was one for men that they could just, everything would be fine except they wouldn't get people pregnant.
Well, dude, and it's just a little silicone bead. That's all it fucking
Would
is.
men do it?
I would do that. Okay, if they
Yeah, but would you
if
trust
they
men if they
marketed
said
it
that they had it?
as, hey, dude, you can bust wherever. Come on, like
Well, no, because then
These would go way up.
also
they would for sure. Well, but
it really pisses me off. You make sure that even if you know someone's on birth control, you make sure it's okay to come inside, right?
oh yeah,
Yeah, okay.
But I mean, like,
'Cause, like, that's
I'm just saying,
happening-
if male birth control existed,
Right.
and that's how they marketed it, rather than like.
I would not like it if they marketed it that way, because I still don't think that you should
Bust
come in.
forever.
Well, I still
No,
don't think that you
well,
should
here's
come
here's
inside
why
of-
is because I think it like men. Okay, don't pour that directly on the soundboard.
No, I do think the coming inside thing is another level of intimacy that I'm not.
Well,
We have
also
to-
you can get diseases so much easier if you come inside.
Okay,
someone's
the reason
bed.
I'm saying that though is because like your concern was like, would men take it? And I think probably culturally,
Would men
at
lie
this-
about it is my concern.
At this point, they wouldn't, because like men don't think they have to do anything,
Right.
like for sexual health or like to lower anyone's like risk of unintended consequences. But if they were like, this makes you more free, then I think, that's all.
Yeah, but like,
obviously the commercial wouldn't be you can bust wherever.
But even implying that I don't like, because I would say I wouldn't want male birth control for guys to be like, no, I can come inside you. Because anyway, I've just had guys come inside me without asking because I was either on my period or they knew I was on birth control. And I was like, I never said you could come inside me. I just thought you were going to pull out. And like, I guess I should also clarify that. But I do think it's the expectation is that you're not. Whenever someone's come inside me, it's because in the moment I've been like, come inside me. But like usually I'm like, I'm a fucking idiot. Why did I tell him to come inside me? Like, it was like when I was in a serious relationship or when I really, really liked someone and I was on birth control and I was like, this will be great. And
it's definitely going to bring us closer together.
Right, exactly. The threat of having a child,
love potion,
and the higher chance that I will definitely get a yeast infection from putting this.
But also, it probably feels better for them. Like,
it does, and it kind of feels better.
No, it feels. Yeah, it's way better.
Yeah, yeah.
Like if I'm doing the pull-out thing with someone, like I could lose it because. Like about to happen, but then it's about to happen for them, and then it's all ruined.
Right, exactly.
Well, because there's so much more. Like you got to start thinking about what actually is happening.
Right, and you have to think of. I have to think about it. It's like, really ruins the mood.
Yeah,
but that's kind of the thing with condoms too. It's like you have to stop and do the thing.
Yada.
Yeah, it's like you're fucking, and it's this like beautiful animalistic thing, and all of a sudden you're like, we got to start doing science. It's like, fuck that.
Sounds like someone's walking.
I'll figure it out.
I think someone was walking.
Oh, it's next door.
Yeah,
where are you guys? Are you in someone's house?
We're in my house.
We're in a bunker.
This is
cool.
This is my office.
We're on a little St. James right now.
Do you have roommates?
No, just me and Susanna. And so we got my office, the bedroom, her office.
It's a shotgun.
Kitchen. Yeah, it's a shotgun.
I love the shotguns in New Orleans. So nice.
It's horrible if you have roommates, but it's great if you don't.
Yeah. When I first got here, I was living with two other dudes in it was sold to us as a 3-bedroom, but it was a 1-bedroom shotgun.
Yeah.
So basically it was like his room, my room, kitchen, bathroom. And, like you had to walk through everyone's shit all the time. It's fucking.
That's horrible. So you must have walked in on people boning.
Oh yeah, but that's like
to.
I mean, walking in on an adult, that shit happens. I feel like.
Yeah.
No, not to me. Oh my god, I would.
Well,
die.
in New Orleans it does because the fucking shotguns.
Yeah. You're a homeowner, aren't you?
I am.
What's your layout?
But in Philadelphia, for a time, that was like a thing that you could do.
Is it like a row house situation or what?
Have you ever been to Philly?
No.
Okay, yeah. Like, if you've ever been here, you would know. Like, all the houses kind of look the same. So, it's a row house. So I have like attached neighbors on both sides, and it's like you walk in and it's like an open downstairs, and then there's an upstairs, which is where I am now, my bedroom, and then there's like 2 other bedrooms that are very small.
What goes in them now?
I have an office and a guest room, so you guys can visit.
Yay!
Comedy shows in Philadelphia.
Do you ever go to
Stand-up comedy
comedy?
makes me really uncomfortable. Though.
Yeah, I was about to say, I bet you don't like stand-up because I respect you a lot. When
It's just like, it's really, I like it when it's good, but a lot of times it's bad.
Right.
And I have like a lot of empathy for people.
Oh, yeah.
So if people aren't laughing, it's killing me inside.
Right.
So you like
comics don't realize how nervous the audience is for them.
right.
I'm so nervous. Like my friend who is very, very funny, took like, I was really proud of her. She like took a stand-up like 6-week course. And at the end of the course was like, you had to do stand-up. And so I went to support her.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like having anxiety the whole time because so many people were just, I mean, I guess it's like a lot of it's about timing.
Yeah.
And like they were just missing the timing. And it was just killing me. So I just had to get more and more drunk to like suffer through it. But I can tell you all are very funny. And so I would like going to your comedy shows.
Thank you.
You also don't need to say that in order to have this conversation because my girlfriend will come to open mics, or she went to like 2, And at one of them, somebody bombed so hard that she dreamt that she appeased his ego.
Suze is the nicest person in the world.
God, I love that.
Isn't that so
story
fucking funny?
So much.
So
And he was also a shithead. He wasn't even like a
he's like-
nice-hearted man.
No. It was like he bombed because he was saying misogynist dog shit, and she had a dream that she ran into him in the grocery store and was like, "It's okay."
Wait.
Yeah.
If we're saying no one responded to me in the group chat about this, but so what he does, he likes to post sexist things on Facebook. This one specific guy, and that like he compared feminists to Nazis, the classic.
Yeah.
And then
Classic
the
analogy.
classic.
Vintage.
And then when people criticized him, he was like, "Look, I'm pansexual," and I was like, "What the fuck?"
I didn't respond because what you said, I didn't understand.
So then
it didn't make any
later,
sense what you said.
Then later he came out on his Facebook as demisexual, which is to me not real, but I understand that I know that could get you canceled. But wait, honestly, but it's not the same.
No,
You're
but that's
putting
where the identity shit really stops.
right.
Wait, what is demisexual?
It means
means
that you
you're-
can only fuck people that you're into, basically.
Well, yeah, like you're only
no.
attracted. You're only attracted to people who you have a deep emotional connection with, or
Which
whatever.
is a lot of
right.
people.
Is that wrong?
Oh, that's me.
Yeah, exactly. That is so many people I know, and that's not an oppressed group.
What if your
Nor is it-
sexuality you
It's
just
so corny
internalize
that
as
talking about being
coming from a
polyamorous.
demiurge?
Wait,
Right,
wait.
exactly.
Say that again.
It's like talking about being polyamorous. It's like keep it to yourself.
Right. Or even if you want to talk
Yeah,
about it.
you're a weenie. Keep it to yourself.
Yeah, I just am like, but people, and then of course to just make myself more furious, sometimes I wear my heart rate monitor when I look at Twitter to see what it
That's
does.
the dorkiest.
And it does make my heart beat a little bit faster.
I believe it.
But I just was like,
Why do you have a heart rate monitor?
to work out. I like to see,
wow.
yeah, I go to this gym where we can see what we're burning on a
Oh,
screen.
is it the orange thing?
Yeah, my zone.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have
It's-
friends who are into this.
Yeah, it's very fun. Especially because I'm super like out of shape.
On your
So,
wedding shit.
huh?
You're on your wedding shit.
Yeah, and also, but I think I'm gonna keep doing it after that because I'm obsessed with it.
Does.
Yeah, I love the weightlifting a lot,
Yeah.
and I'd never done that before.
No, weightlifting is so awesome. I think all women should be forced to do it.
Yeah, it's really awesome. And the gym I go to is owned
And
by.
I'm in charge.
Dude, go on Joe Rogan.
Program.
Women will be first against the wall doing wall sits.
But anyway, so demisexual is like I think asexual is like the last thing that is like a real identity in terms of who's attracted to who, and like I just think it's like I don't know. It's like I get that because people will say that like people will say it's not true, blah blah blah, and they'll belittle you, but. Most people will believe that you only want to fuck people that you have an emotional connection to because that's a lot of human beings. Like, and then people are like,
It's literally so normal.
I know it's so normal unless I'm misunderstanding it. But like that's the definition that I saw, and then I saw people talking about demisexual erasure because I tweet searched it, so it's my own fault.
You just think of phrases that make you mad,
and then I
you
find people who did them. I do. I'm insane. I like to get mad.
Yeah.
No, that should be illegal for someone to tweet those two words.
I know. And like even bi erasure I think is mostly stupid because it's the people who talk about bi erasure most are like women who
Women like us.
Yes, women like us who like mostly date men, and then like no women who actually date women talk about bi erasure because everyone just calls them lesbians, and they're like, yeah, I'm a lesbian. Like most women I know who are bisexual and like occasionally fuck men, and people call them lesbians. They're like, I am a lesbian. I live with a fucking woman that I fuck. Of course I'm a lesbian. It doesn't matter if I fuck dudes. None of those women are like, I'm bi. Did you know I fuck dudes? It's like, no, I'm the cooler one. Like, I don't know.
I feel like bi erasure is
totally
more of a
agree.
thing
For men.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
For dudes.
I think that's
Huh?
right.
I'm like an embarrassed bisexual. I'm like, I don't deserve to say.
I'm the exact same way. And I've been scolded by my friend who's gay and runs a showcase called Greetings from Queer Mountain. It's like a showcase that was started in another city, and then they kind of franchise, and she's the person who does it in this city. And she has me on sometimes, and I'm always like, I feel guilty. Like, I have some funny stories about fucking ladies, and I always make the caveat of like, I feel guilty calling myself bisexual or queer because
Right.
yada yada
That's a
yada.
funny story.
The funny, I mean, it's a long story, but I've told it a bunch on like storytelling things. And it's like about when I was with this girl who woke me up like by putting my Hitachi magic wand in my face like a guy would if he was poking you in the ass with his boner in the morning. And I just was like really bad at making her come.
Was it on?
Her. No, she didn't put it on my face, but she just like woke me up and was like that. But it was like the whole thing was really ridiculous. She had tattoos. Like I met her online. No, she had like tattoos.
I met her online. She had tattoos.
She had tattoos of like knives and snakes and stuff. And she was like really, really quiet. And she was really sweet. We ended up having sex like 2 or 3 times whenever she would come into New Orleans. But
I'm not even thinking of a specific person, but just everything you've said so far. Has this person done burlesque?
No, she's a chef. So she was really cool, but she was really quiet. And like we were walking down the street together and we were holding hands and everyone was looking at us approvingly. And I just wanted to be like, I've sucked 87 dicks. Like I do not deserve this. And I felt really guilty for being perceived. Please
don't support me.
I know. I felt really guilty for being perceived as a lesbian because she is a lesbian. So it was just, I just talk about that like, I'm very honest about it. I don't like when I do these showcases. I don't pretend like I'm the queerest person in the world.
Right.
I'm basically a straight lady. And old lesbians call me straight. Like Alita Glass calls me straight because I'm marrying a cisgender man. Of course, she calls me straight. Yeah. I don't take offense to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no one.
I think you have a normal. I think your reaction to your bisexual identity is like normal and healthy. And honestly, everyone who's like us who talks about bisexual erasure just like wants to be oppressed.
I agree. Because I do think it's a real thing, like Benjamin just said, for men, because people are homophobic, so men aren't allowed to be bisexual. But people pretty much accept that women are bisexual. Like,
definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like a whole. It's part of the like cis male fantasy of what a woman is.
Exactly.
In like modern culture. Right. Yeah, exactly. Like it's so mainstream.
You know, it's so funny because sometimes men really hate it when you've had sex with women. It like there are men
because they're like insecure about it.
Yeah. Like I know female friends who date ostensibly liberal or at least not conservative guys, like not religious guys, who've been like very put off by it.
Damn, that's the weeniest shit of all time.
Yeah, some of it's cultural.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a friend get mad at me for like not for not being threatened by women.
Women, yeah,
which is that's a legitimate.
Yeah. Well, I get the not being threatened.
I just like don't like I mean this is not I'm not like fucking performing like I legit just like don't trust men as a group and I don't like men as a group.
What's to trust?
Right. Yeah. And like and so like the idea of someone I love like having sex with a woman, it doesn't have this inherent like danger of
corruption.
Like it doesn't have this inherent danger of like
being a horrible time
and like it triggers like all this protective shit that I'm not proud of. But
you don't think that it's also that it makes you less insecure because you don't view like.
Well, I mean that's her criticism is like oh you don't see.
I mean I don't think
threat.
it's just protection. Like I don't think that the reason that you are more okay with a woman that you're dating fucking a woman and not a man is just because you're worried about her. I would not.
No, of course not. I mean, also and then you get into all this like this sort of like fucking heteronormative minefield of like, oh, like I can't be replaced because I'm like a cisgender man,
right,
and like,
right.
But I can't be replaced by a woman because I have like a penis and like can squirt jizz, like whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's
they love that.
Ladies love it when you squirt.
Ladies love cum. Male cum is really the whole. That's really. I don't even want to cum myself.
That's what I'm in it for.
If I could just get Tabasco bottle full of.
Come over and make a mess.
Fucking idiot broads don't realize they could just take it and keep it. They keep getting it fresh. That's all you want is
you
the
have
cum.
a refrigerator.
Yeah, just make yogurt instead of trying to keep them.
Broads, man.
Sorry.
Oh man. Do you know we're in the latest current affairs newsletter, and the first thing that Benjamin says is like, "Your mom knows that I can stick my own dick in my ass."
Wait, what?
So on the Sparky and Oren episode, the first thing that you say is I'm talking about my mom listening to the podcast, and he's like, "Oh, it's hilarious that your mom knows I could stick my own dick in my ass." And so like Current Affairs just shared that episode, and that's the first 15 seconds. Yeah. Anyway.
Wait, so you guys talk about sex on your other with your other guests?
accidentally.
Yeah, I think
We talked about other stuff
when we
too.
do episodes without guests, it almost always
Comes down to
degrades
sex.
to sex. Yeah.
Yeah. So our podcast is mostly about having.
what?
I was feeling like a deviant.
No,
Oh,
no.
no.
We've talked to someone whose whole thing was sex parties before.
Yeah.
Like,
Ew, that's horrifying. That disgusts me.
he's very.
Demisexual.
I'm sorry
Oh,
to
man.
trigger you.
I want you to. Okay, I want you to listen to that podcast now, though, because he's the sweetest
Yeah, he's
man of
great.
all time.
Yeah.
Ew, men who are into deviant sex really disgust me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm going to listen. I'm not going to judge.
No,
But
judge. I want you to listen and
Okay,
judge.
it's just like we get it. You're a man and you're horny. It's like not interesting.
Well,
It's like if a woman is really horny, like that's more interesting.
Yeah,
to me.
sure.
When it's not like
'Cause
about like
We've only
getting
been
in-
allowed to be horny for a few years, whereas men have always been allowed to be so horny. That, yeah.
right, but also so much of women being horny, it's still like for men. Like what you're saying, like part of the reason you wanted to have sex was like not just to have sex, but like to get attention,
yeah.
And
information.
validation.
Yeah.
And that's still like obviously part of like, I mean, it's that whole thing with like, what's that hot bitch's name who wrote that thing about being sexy?
Oh my God, Emily Ratcho, whatever.
Yeah.
That whole thing read like the thing, like when I was, okay, so I was a women's
Like, give
studies.
me a break. I'm sexy.
I know, she was just like,
No.
the funniest part was when she was like, someone called me femme, and I was really offended. And then I realized it's actually okay to be a girl. And I'm just like, yeah, you have washboard abs, you weigh 9 pounds, you have the biggest boobs I've ever seen, your lips are as big as your boobs, you have baby deer eyes, you stupid bitch. Of course you're fucking femme. And she like, yeah, she looks like a baby deer that you could fuck. And she also like whatever. I'm sure she's a good person, but the whole thing read. It's just so annoying that.
Bernie bro last election cycle, so I was into her.
Oh well, good for her.
She was like a Bernie surrogate. But yeah, no, it's like, give me a fucking break. It's hard to be sexy, bitch. Imagine being ugly.
Yeah,
Seriously.
Imagine just being less hot.
Would be like if you were fat and ugly and like no one wanted to look at you.
Yeah.
How would you make money?
Yeah, you couldn't write a level 101 gender studies paper for Harper's Bazaar if you looked like that, because everyone would be like, yeah, of course you have trouble grappling with your gender, you ugly bitch. No one cares. But that it really did read like a gender studies intro course, like when your mind's like, whoa, gender's a spectrum. Like it was that.
Yeah.
It was so bad.
I'm femme because society tells me it's okay, but also I like it. But also, do I really like it, or is it society? Oh well, I love being sexy.
All right, we should probably wrap it up. We got places to be,
Yeah.
people to bore.
People, we got mics to bomb at, not, yeah.
Mindy Isser, thank you so much for coming on
This
the
was
show.
amazing.
At Lil Yenta, LIL_Yenta. Anything else you want to plug? What's that?
It's okay. No one has to follow me.
Well, I don't think anyone feels like they have to, but if they
Might want to.
If anyone's listening, you don't have to.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. This has been great. This is
Yeah,
like the longest episode we've
Ever done.
Ever
I'm so
done.
sorry.
No,
It
no,
doesn't
no, no,
feel
no.
that long.
No, I'm
No,
saying
we
that.
like it.
I'm saying that as evidence that we like you and you're not
Dude,
annoying.
don't
We're like,
fucking apologize.
Yeah,
no,
we
we
would
we're
have
clearly
killed-
having a good time.
My
What's that?
life is apologizing.
yeah. All right.
Okay, well, I'll be in New Orleans at some point in the future, so we can hang out IRL.
that sounds
Yeah,
great.
come hang.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Thank you. Goodbye.
We love you all.
We love
Peace.
you.